6898 or biglou.com.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-253-6259. 800-253-6259. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-253-6259.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in. As we said a moment ago with Dawn, the big story is the jury is hung on the major charge, and every bit of information I can find in Daniel Penny's case in New York says you can't move on to the other if you're charged on the more serious, on appeal right now. But hey, the whole thing is a kangaroo court, just like here in Philadelphia. And the outrageous thing is this, and I'm going to give you an example of the Larry Krasner world, just like the Alvin Bragg world. In what kind of universe do we have a guy in the case of Alvin Bragg who routinely lets illegal migrant killers, potential killers out, cop killers, there's lawlessness in New York. And yet, we're going after Daniel Penny. A little factoid I heard today from that former police sergeant that Fox has on Morrow. There was no visible neck injuries here, no broken neck, nothing like that. And if you're the jury, you got to say, the level of what Penny did here to subdue this guy, that's a fact that I would look at that says that this was within boundaries of what was needed to be done. So we sit here now, and we're looking at how are they moving forward when there's a hung jury on the first. Will Alvin Bragg go back again? I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it that he would do it. The only thing that's going to work is voting these people out of office, potentially impeaching them. I don't know why in New York, the governor, by the way, Hochul, can do that with Alvin Bragg. We've done our best here with Krasner, and that fight's not over. So how does Krasner play into this? Well, I'm looking at a case. Now, you know that one of Krasner's biggest selling cards to people out there that want to believe nobody does anything, everybody's innocent, he's bringing people home, is these cases of a while ago. He finds some technicality, then says they didn't do it. A Philly man was awarded $4.1 million by the city for an overturned murder conviction that Krasner was involved in, even though the Inquirer says his office had doubts that this guy must have done it. So the guy gets $4.1 million. He had spent 24 years in prison before this release in 2017. This woman, for some reason, wants to be with him and marry him. More about her in a moment. And even though he had the $4.1 million, he now has pleaded guilty, because we know that he did it, to killing somebody else over a drug debt. In other words, he gave this guy cocaine to sell for $1,200. The guy just sold it and never gave him the money. So with the wife in tow driving, he drives around until he finds him, and he admits that he killed him. Now, here's the kicker. The woman ultimately turns on him after he threatens her and the whole family. And in the middle of all this, as he's driving after killing this man, even though he had the $4 million, he says that this is the, let me get it. He says it's his third homicide and he can't go back to jail. Now, what does that tell you? Yeah, you know what it tells you. He killed the other guy, too, and maybe more. And he's admitting to her as they're fleeing it, hey, I already killed 3 people. He told her he knew where her family lived, her children, her brother. These are the types of people that Krasner is letting loose on us, aiding and abetting. And this is what is going on with Bragg. And at the same time, you know Krasner's passion to go after cops to the ends of the earth. There's only one thing that works to protect all of us. And look, you know this, even if you're in the suburbs. This fans out into the suburbs from Philadelphia. It's to defeat Larry Krasner when he runs this year after the holidays. You'll hear more contenders that are going to run against him, and Elon Musk might bankroll one of them. But how in the world in New York right now are we seeing a hung jury on the bigger charge, if you will? And I'm looking at 3 documents here, 3 coverages, Fox, NBC News, and others, saying you can't go on to the second one unless you convict on the first. Well, they have a hung jury. So how are we going to move down to the lesser charge? Again, on appeal. But this guy's in a nightmare. And mark me, Alvin Bragg is still going to charge him even though there's a hung jury. There's 1 or 2 people on there that buying into some kind of racial cause and want to see this guy Penny as a racist or something like that. He's also going to be sued by the father. Suddenly there's a father of this maniac on the suburbs that comes around, civil suit. This is what happens here. So the message is just protect yourself. Don't get involved. Don't stop someone from being murdered maybe in front of you, because if you're in Philadelphia, L.A., New York, you know what you'll have to face. This is the consequence of it. That's why this case is so big. Now, Curtis Sliwa will be here at 1:30 today. Sliwa, of course, Guardian Angels, his main claim to fame, subways, intervening. What does he take away from this? The judge has now reached a jury to try to reach a verdict. It's called an Allen charge. Maybe that's why the second one's in play. He doesn't want to hear they're a hung jury. He's going to send them in there again. There's at least 1 lawyer on this jury, maybe 2. We think the lawyer may have become the foreman of this jury, and he went through this methodically. And again, you're a hung jury on the major case. That tells you all that we need to know. How much, the only upside to this, you know what it is. The last election, this is the type of stuff that people are voting on. Even if they're not in Philadelphia, even if they're not in New York, they're not going to put up with this. And they know which party is the criminal party. They know which party favors criminals. There is no doubt. That's incontrovertible, what I'm saying. That's not a wild charge. They do. That's why they want criminals to vote so much. That's their party. That's what they're about. Harris had the baggage of bailing out people that were setting the fires and rioting in Minnesota, if you remember. Walls and the wife left the windows open so she could smell the burning tires and all. Come on. So can Krasner be stopped here? New York, if they don't stop Bragg after all this, But who knows? Maybe they think Bragg's a hero for getting the phony conviction on Trump. This case reeks as much as any case that we've seen. And this guy Penny is going to be under this shadow going forward, meaning it's not over, whatever happens today. There's a hung jury in the first charge. If it is that, he's still going to go and pursue it. All right, we have that going on. 855-839-1210. You get on board. I'll give you the side question in a moment. The other thing we have going on, we're going to bring on a state senator. The Republicans have placed, again, a bill in the Senate. It will pass. It passed in a bipartisan fashion. It might pass in the House, too. And the bill is called Save Women's Sports Act. Now, if I were there advising them, they're following to a T exactly what I would do on this whole transgender nonsense. I still believe the way to drive a wedge and go after them is the nonsense of males in women's sports. The bathroom stuff and all that gets a little more complicated, a little bit harder to do. That's next. But this is the low-hanging fruit from yesterday's side question. And we're going to have one of them on, and here's what is important about this. This passed the last time they did it. Wolf was governor, and Wolf, of course, Wolfman Hack, vetoed it. Our buddy, Joshi Shapiro, though, was the attorney general, and he spoke out. And he called this law that protects women in sports. He said folks at least a dozen times when he talked about it. That's all I used to tell. He called it cruel. You're being cruel to these kids. The cruelty of it, Josh. You know what my point is. Harris changed her mind, lied on fracking and everything else. Remember that? What's the one thing she wouldn't give up? The mob would not let her give up her nonsense on so-called transgender rights. That was a bridge too far. Imagine all the other things they let her. She knew she couldn't get away with that. Well, we're going to put this right now, right before Josh Shapiro, because I'm convinced, even though Democrats have a one-person margin in the House, I'm convinced this is going to pass again, particularly after this election. It might pass overwhelmingly in the Senate. Will Josh Shapiro veto this? I think he will. He'll come out and he'll say y'all and folks and all the nonsense he does. He'll call it cruel. He'll say he's going to go in a campaign to protect all Pennsylvanians, the whole thing. It's going to ding him, though. If he takes that position and he vetoes this. Now, I applaud the Republicans. This is right out of the box. We're not even back in session, or I don't know what they're doing right now. They may be in session, but we haven't even started post the new year. And they have this back and ready to go. You're going to hear from one of the senators involved with this. It's both the right thing to do and the politically right thing to do, because this is about, again, the easiest thing to see here. There's no way that males ought to be in female sports in any way, shape, or form. This is like an 80 to 85% approval. So I said, the bathroom and other stuff, the military, you get a little bit of back and forth. That's next, okay. My mission here, though, is to say this has a definite chance of dinging up Josh Shapiro. I bet he's meeting with advisors around the clock thinking, well, I can't veto it. What am I going to do with this? How am I going to undercut this? One of the arguments they'll use, of course, is it's only a handful. Remember that? Martha Raddatz, only a handful. Why are they doing this? Inhumane, cruel. Just think about these maniacs. They're putting males out there to beat up on females in sports, take away, it's stolen valor. And they're calling us cruel on this. All right, so 855-839-1210. We'll have more. Curtis Sliwa here, as I said, at about 1:30. We'll have more today on the Penny jury hung on the manslaughter charge, but apparently still going forward. The Zhao in charge says, well, just the judge tells you, I don't care, keep at it. But I'm getting reports that they're looking at the second charge, which they can't do until the first charge is decided. I think by the end of the show, if we're not hearing something, this judge has to dismiss this jury. But they are determined to make this excruciating. It's ridiculous. How many days do we need of this? Why would a judge do this? Because he's in New York. It's the same ilk. There's no way. He ought to accept the jury charge, and then we'll see what Bragg will do. All right, let me give you the side question today. Boy, I ran into a couple of other good side questions. Jim, our ace producer, is also a DJ, told me he's doing events now, and he has to look because on the list are often do not play songs.
Yes.
And one of them is Village People, anything with that. People don't like it at the
Oh,
wedding.
come on. No, that's a great time.
Well, I wouldn't
When
want...
everyone comes out of their shell.
Okay, they're good coming after me. I don't want any of that. Well, no wedding in the future for me, but at the wedding, no mummers stuff. None of that stuff. No mummers. All that stuff. It's ridiculous.
I'm okay with the no mummers, but you got to play YMCA.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would agree.
And the electric shuffle.
No, too much of that. Women looking at their feet, taking off their shoes to do that. Oh, my God.
Dawn's a big shuffle fan, huh?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, not Dawn.
Ro,
yeah.
Loves that stuff.
Yeah.
But he said Village People have it on the wedding list, do not play. And now he thinks they're either going to have it on the list or there's going to be a fight breaking out because of the Trump Association.
So it's rebooting the popularity of the Village People.
Yes. So
making them relevant and cool again.
Monday, we may have to ask on your wedding, if you could do it over again, what's the do not play list? But today's is even more intense in a fun way. We had this great caller yesterday trying to tell me, of all people, that Cheltenham is pronounced Sheltonham. Why do I mispronounce it after we got going with it? And he went through a whole phonetic thing. Roe happened to be listening and saying, man, I don't know who taught that guy phonics, but it's all incorrect. And it, of course, is not Cheltenham.
Cheltenham?
Right. So
okay.
We're looking for a word that there's a lot of contention about, like the niche. He also said niche. I rest my case.
Cheltenham or Cheltenham, though?
It's Cheltenham. It's like, you can't. It's a CH sound. My God. All right. So I'm going to take off the niche.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off every time I hear this. Oh, my. In the middle of a sentence, my aunt. It's not your aunt. You're not the king of England. It's your aunt.
Aunt?
Yeah. We don't have to say it that way exactly,
aunt?
but
I don't know. It sounds so harsh when you say aunt.
I know,
aunt
but it
sounds so endearing.
It's not your aunt, though.
Do you say aunt or aunt, Henry?
Aunt.
Thank you. This guy is a very well-educated guy.
I think I call him, serious. I think I call him aunt if I'm talking to them, but if I'm talking about them to a different person,
auntie,
I might say aunt.
Well, why would you do that?
My aunt. I don't know why I do that. I probably wouldn't.
All right.
No, now I'm saying it out loud. Now.
I know. People that do it, it's because it sounds better, but isn't it better to be correct?
It's weird because I would say aunt in conversation, similar to Henry, but it's like Auntie Debbie is how I know my aunt. Yeah. Like it's.
Why can't you say
it's the official title?
Auntie Debbie.
It just sounds weird.
No, it doesn't.
Sounds like she's an insect.
Oh, God. All right. Do you say just between you and me or just between you and I? Let's get this one done.
Between you and me.
Thank you.
I don't think I ever use and I for anything.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I also say me and Henry a lot
now,
when we talk about the Money Melody. I get trashed for that.
Just take Henry out of it. Compound subject. So if you were saying just one pronoun there, you wouldn't say me take Henry. You would say I.
Well,
it's a simple way of doing it.
I am a caveman, so.
Well, true. But anyhow.
Me take Henry.
Henry suggested the Acme. That's like an endearing localism. Yeah. So I will give that one a
Acme.
pass.
We all know it's Acme.
We all know it's Acme. I'll give that one
Acme.
a pass. Acme, yes.
How about a local one down Atlantic City, Dom? The good old, they don't say Arkansas Avenue, they say Arkansas Avenue.
Who says that?
I have no idea. I think only people there.
Some people there.
Arkansas Avenue.
What's yours, Henry?
Yeah, so I got two. The first one I'm going to take off the board is the word nuclear. It is not nuclear. Yeah, it's not nuclear. There's no second U in there. It's nuclear. Nuclear. The other one I'm going to do, it reminds me of a clip from The King and I. Dan, if you would cue that up for me, please, just for a second. Etc. Etc.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
etc.
sometimes I mess that up.
Yeah,
that's a good.
It'll slip every once in a while, but it's etc.
True.
Etc. Etc. Etc.
All right, Dan, do you have one that's in dispute?
No, just my Arkansas. I got to get it on the phone real quick.
Yeah, Alan Dershowitz may be joining us. He's all over this Daniel Penny thing. I want to hear what the Dersh has to say about it. So hit us on that, 855-839-1210. A word that there's a back and forth on, particularly legitimate stuff like the niche is relatively legitimate. I would concede that one. But the Cheltenham stuff, well, locally, I bet if you walk down outside the building and say, is it Cheltenham or Cheltenham, you get 51% saying Cheltenham. I don't know how this happens. Yeah. Send somebody out. Get another producer out of the lounge here. All right, 855. People actually believe there's a producer's lounge, by the way, here.
There is.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of my fanciful moments here. 855-839-1210. Jump in. We should talk with Alan Dershowitz next on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company weekday mornings.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com and get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, so we have the Penny case, and to break it down, America's favorite lawyer in many, many ways, in many, many years, at least the Dom Giordano shows. Let's go to Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor, welcome back to Philadelphia. What are you feeling right now? Thank you, Professor. What are you thinking right now? I have a question. I don't understand. You have to go for the more serious charge first. We have to have a decision before you go with the second, and yet this judge seems to be bypassing it in some way.
Hard to tell. I think the one inference we can draw is that they're not likely to acquit. There's a hung jury probably on the yes or no, and so we're not likely to get an acquittal. Now, the hanging may be between whether it's going to be the more serious charge, recklessness, or criminal negligence, the less serious charge. There may be a dispute over that, and often what you get is a compromised verdict. What you get is you don't get enough jurors to convict on the upper count. Maybe you can get them to combine together with the others and to convict on the lower count. So that would be the inference I would draw from this. Now, the judge is probably going to give what's called the dynamite charge. We always call it. Yeah, we call it the X-Lax charge. And it's designed to loosen
Hey, Professor, just one aside. Boy, I wish I had you in law school. I mean, I went to Rutgers Law School at night. I wasn't at Harvard. And I think I would have had it in me at some point to try to debate you on something. Then I would have slunk out of there after it was over.
No, come on. I mean, the students who got the highest grades in my class, like Ted Cruz, were the ones who disagreed with me the most.
I taught Ted Cruz. That's amazing.
Yeah. If you agreed with me and just wrote an exam that just parroted what I said, you got a B-. But if you took me on and beat me in argument, that was the A+. So you would have gotten an A+. I'm totally convinced of that.
So, Professor, with this situation, though, how have we what I heard today, too, I don't know how closely you've been following some of the medical testimony. Apparently, the neck injuries were not severe here, indicating what? That maybe the guy did use proper restraint in subduing this guy?
I think he did. And I think any of us, if we had been courageous enough, would have done the right thing. He did the right thing. The villain of this piece is, of course, District Attorney Bragg, who is also the villain of trying to get Trump on made-up charges. And so this case never should have been brought. It's going to send a terrible message to good people in crowded places. Stay away, turn your back, run away, don't get involved. You don't want to be involved. This is also a clear racial case. Plainly, if the defendant had been black and the victim had been white, the protests that caused the DA to change his mind in this case wouldn't have had that effect. So this is a case clearly involving race. It would not surprise me if the jury disagreement may be racial as well. We don't know that. We're only speculating. But the jury is divided, I think, 7-5 along racial lines as well. So, this may have been destined to be a hung jury before a single piece of evidence was given. This stuff about, we want to hear this again, we want to hear that again, we want to have that read back to me. I don't think that's influencing this case. I think this case is a gut case, an instinctive case. Either you say, my God, this was a good Samaritan who maybe went a little bit too far. Hey, people do that under the pressure of a life-threatening situation. Or, this is an overt racist who just set out to kill anybody who was black. Those are the kind of gut feelings that are hard to change if you're an advocate and hard to change if there's evidence. So jury selection often is the key to how a case is going to come out.
I'm convinced that even if a hung jury on this, Bragg might go back again.
He might. Look, he has to get a victory. He's going to lose his next election because he's going to get the Trump conviction reversed. Unless he manages to pull off a stunt by saying, well, let's not sentence him for 4 years. It'll be hanging over his head. This guy is a failure as a district attorney. Nobody should imagine ever voting for him again. And if he loses this case, he's done. So I think he will either be satisfied with a hung jury if there is a hung jury. We don't know if there's going to be a hung jury. There may be a compromised verdict of guilt, but I think it'll be reversed on appeal. Also, the prosecution are making mistake after mistake. They are telling the media, and they implicitly told the jury, look, don't worry about it. He's not going to get sentenced to prison anyway, so you can find him guilty, and don't worry, he's not going to go to prison. That's a message they're sending. It's a lie, because they're probably going to ask for a prison sentence if he's convicted.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt in this. And with the backdrop at the same time of people who are committing serious crimes with almost no penalty, that's what New Yorkers, you're right, will revolt against. Wanted to ask you, post the election, have you run into Larry David or anybody like that in your former circle?
No, they don't talk to me. They stopped talking to me the day I defended Donald Trump successfully in front of the Senate on an unconstitutional charge. Look, they're old-fashioned McCarthyites. They attack lawyers for who their clients are. I get that all the time. Oh, my God, you defended Donald Trump. You must be a Trumpist, a mega person. I'm not. I'm a liberal. But I defend people, whether I agree with them or not. I defended Bill Clinton as well. I defended Natan Sharansky. I've defended 250 people over my career, most of them quite successfully. And I do it without regard to the politics or the race. And I do half my cases pro bono. Right now, I'm defending Israel pro bono in front of the International Criminal Court. I was in Philadelphia recently. I spoke at the University of Pennsylvania. We gave out copies of a new book I just wrote, a little pamphlet called "The 10 Big Anti-Israel Lies and How to Refute Them with Truth." We're trying to give away 1 million free copies to college students all over the country, indeed all over the world. They need it in Canada and Australia and in England.
How do people get it? What do we do?
Yeah, just send to my publisher. My publisher's name is Skyhorse in New York. And if you write to Skyhorse or call him, they'll send you. They just sent 1,000 copies out to Harvard. They'll send copies to any university free of charge. You don't even have to pay postage, and you can give them out to students, and they'll have answers to the lies that are being told on college campuses today.
I wish you look. You're so busy. Keep us in your loop. I wish you had known we would go to that. We promote it. The whole anything when you're in the Philadelphia area. We certainly want to know about that next time. How do you see Trump with Israel now at this point? Do you think it will be pretty much what he did the first time around, which I think was pretty strong in support of the right things?
Very strong. I think he'll be very strong. His goal is to get the hostages out even before Inauguration Day by his threats. Look, he's already succeeded. He already got Iran to change their mind. They were going to attack Israel again. And once Trump got elected, hey, suddenly they forgot about that, and they didn't attack Israel. So we'll see what happens. We know that the president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, recently had a conversation with Elon Musk about the hostages. And so I think it'll be high on the agenda of the Trump administration to get the hostages out. It would be, look, Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Whether you voted for him or not, he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for having brought about the Abraham Accords. He could bring about total peace in the Middle East, the return of the hostages, and some idiot will get the Nobel Peace Prize for doing something totally irrelevant, which is what's happened over the years. Nobel Prizes have become utterly worthless now, particularly in the peace, literature, and other political areas.
What's the
Trump
biggest
will never
award,
get a Nobel Peace
Professor?
Prize.
What's the biggest award you ever received that you cherish?
Getting Natan Sharansky out of prison is a big award. But I've gotten the Winston Churchill Award. I cherish that. I've gotten the Menachem Begin Award. I don't work for rewards. I work to do.
I know. But you know what? When you take a look,
I stopped getting rewards the minute I defended Donald Trump. I got 15 honorary doctorates. In the few years before I defended Trump. Since I defended Trump, 0. No college will allow me to speak. The 92nd Street Y won't allow me to speak. Temple Emmanuel in New York won't allow me to speak. I get protests everywhere I go because I defended Trump, because I defended Jeffrey Epstein.
Does anybody yell OJ? What about OJ, whether it's yelling about Trump or no?
They do. Yesterday I had that in an event, and I explained why OJ was acquitted, not because the jury found him innocent, but because the jury found that the police had tampered with some evidence. So, these things come back. But I'm sure John Adams, through his whole life, people screamed at him, Boston Massacre, you defended the Boston Massacre people. Oh, my God.
Well, the book is The 10 Big Anti-Israel Lies and How to Refute Them with Truth, available anywhere books are found, or we're going to try to get some and distribute them here.
You can get it free if you're at a college or any campus, and if you want to buy it on Amazon, it's just a couple of bucks. It's just an 85-page pamphlet, and you can flip through it very quickly. And it has answers to all the lies you're hearing from the anti-Israel radicals.
Professor, thank you as always. Thanks for popping in today.
Thank you,
Professor.
Anytime.
All right, Dan, put that on the resume there. The 40-yard football throw, an A+ now in Dershowitz class. You heard it there, Henry. You're a witness. So sworn. All right, put it in there.
I mean, didn't you drop out of law school?
No, I didn't drop out of law school.
No.
No, not at the earliest
Put
stages.
it like that.
I got into this at that point. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and we all know, look it up, Rutgers night school, who won the moot court
champion.
I
mean, it's now kind of the time, I think, that you might have to follow through on this challenge from Linda Kearns.
Of course, bring her on.
Yeah, remember we had the challenge of a moot court debate? Yeah. She got very busy there for a while.
All right, let's find the subject now that she has time. Yes, a mock trial. Over the holidays, we should do something. She can defend OJ. I'll take the other side. Okay.
Oh, man.
I feel like that's kind of easy for you there.
Yeah, I'm going to call Scott Presler as my first witness. No, Dan is the first witness. Put him on the spot. So if you want that, we'll try to get Cop. I wish I had known that. The guy's busy. Got to stay in the loop with him here. That would have been fun. All right, you heard Alan Dershowitz. What's going on here? The bottom line is this guy is still going to be on the griddle. I don't know how much longer Bragg is there. Maniacs in New York. Put him into office, just like here. Krasner, though, we do know come May is the Democrat primary. Here we go again. All right, phone lines. 855-839-1210. The side question today, hit us with a word or phrase. It's probably a word that's under contention here. We gave you some great examples, I think. 1 o'clock, we're going to talk with Dawn Kiefer, state senator, who runs the Freedom Caucus, but more importantly, she is one of the sponsors of this bill. And I'm telling you the importance of it, in addition to protecting female sports. Josh Shapiro, this has it all written all over it now. What is the camouflage you're going to do? Will he veto it? He almost has to. What names will he call people? See, that's the thing, too. You got to call the names. We're cruel. That's what he said. You're cruel if you think that we shouldn't have these idiots masquerading as women playing against girls. 855-839-1210. You get on board. We'll continue to update you on the Penny case. And again, Alan Dershowitz, it's encyclopedic. You know, yeah, he had Ted Cruz. He had a lot of famous people, Dan. I don't know if Ted Cruz challenged him or not with a smirk or something there. I could say that would be interesting. Yeah, Ted Cruz is a brilliant guy, but there's a likability factor there that might be missing. I'm just saying. You know, I like his intellect, but I don't think he's ever going to be elected president. I just don't see it. No. 855-839-1210, you get in. Let's talk about my friend, dentist, and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz of the Bentz Dental Group in East Norriton. Let's talk because 10 years, my dentist. And from the very beginning, I've told you about Dr. Bentz, not only his skill, the staff, the atmosphere, how good it is for great outcomes for you, that you don't dread going to the dentist, but the constant uptick with technology. That 3D printer we kid about, making your teeth consistently, precisely, no problems. You don't have to keep coming back and forth. But the technology to diagnose. I mean, he just found something with the patient that others had missed. Thank God they went to him. And his technology allows him to achieve consistent, efficient results that really cement your confidence in what he's looking at. No surprises here. He's going to get to the bottom of it. So if you want that kind of dental care, you're looking for a dentist end of the year, you're starting to think, oh, yeah, I got to get that straight. Make the call now, even if you make an appointment in January after the holiday, whatever. Just make the call now, today. Give them a call, the Bentz Dental Group, solutions for the most complex dental cases at 610-272-6949, or visit BentzDentalGroup.com, BENTZ dentalgroup.com. Bentz Dental Group, say it with a smile, 610-272-6949.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-458-0279. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-458-0279. 800-458-0279. Or oxcarcare.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
With a new administration bringing optimism back into the nation, it's more important now than ever before to become crash-proof.
Anthony Torelli, Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. If President Trump can do what he did in his previous term as president and get the economy booming again, then that would be great for crash-proof, and it'll be great for my family and my future. This year, our portfolio grew by 15.7%. If I had left my funds with my previous advisor, that money would have returned about 8 to 9%, and we outperformed my previous advisor 2-1. That's interest credit that we're not going to lose with no fees involved. I'm glad the market's up, and I hope it continues to go up. But at some point, the market's going to come down again, and I'm guaranteed not to lose anything. We can continue on this pathway to success with crash-proof retirement.
You don't have to choose between security and opportunity. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Wherever I go, online security is a top priority for me. In my personal life, on the job, with the family. That's why I subscribe to Privacy Pro from DuckDuckGo. I do feel so secure and worry-free thanks to Privacy Pro's 3-in-1 subscription service. DuckDuckGo VPN, personal information removal, and identity theft restoration. So it helps protect your personal info from being exploited by those hackers, scammers, or privacy-invasive companies. I discovered DuckDuckGo years ago. It's an independent browser search engine, and millions use it. DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro provides me with a VPN, secure encrypted Wi-Fi connection, which I trust. I love that the DuckDuckGo VPN works on browsers and apps across mobile and desktop, up to 5 devices at once. Get a 30-day free trial at duckduckgo.com/1210. Then you pay $9.99 a month. Do this, duckduckgo.com/1210. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Steel holiday savings are here. Find the perfect gift at your local Steel dealer or shop the Steel Holiday Gift Guide at steelusa.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. We are monitoring constantly the Penny case. We'll see where that goes. But let's go to Michael in Abington. He's next in on Talk Radio 1210. Michael, good afternoon.
Good morning or afternoon. How are you?
Good.
Good. Had a few kind of thoughts on what you've been talking about. And some things I don't know. In the case when he choked him to death, he's trained as a Marine to resuscitate people. Did he make the instant moves to aid that man who's down? I don't know.
I don't know. I do know that you know what the argument is going to be here. That's why I mentioned the neck. They Narcaned him when they got there within a couple minutes. The rescue, the responders. So Narcan was one of the first things they did. So it seems pretty clear, as far as I can tell, that the cause of death is mixed in with drugs. It's very similar to George Floyd.
Sure. I'm going more to the point of, if a policeman shoots somebody, they don't worry if he was on drugs before or whatever. They immediately render assistance. So does a Marine. A Marine immediately renders assistance when he sees somebody he's shot or whatever.
Well, I would tell you whether he did or not, that's not criminal.
It's not criminal, but I think it's important. The other thing I was going to say is Dershowitz. And this kind of goes to this. He's advocating for this young man, and he wonders why people get mad at him. And he kind of pointed to it himself. He said, I advocate for people. I defend people whether I believe them or I don't, right or wrong. I like him, and I really believe a lot of what he says, especially on Israel. But then I ask myself, does he believe it? because he admits clearly he's a very good advocate. He's a very good arguer. He's a professional debater. He is the best at his craft. So maybe everything he's saying about Israel, he's saying for the sake of argument.
No, I would tell you. You know what? I would tell you. I put my own on the line as a radar detector, doing this forever. Now, this is genuine, up and down the line. This has been consistent. I don't see anything that he's arguing like that. No, he is passionate about it, and it costs him some people. But no, on that, Michael, he's pretty clear cut. Thank you. It's not just argument for the sake of argument. He is probably the best that I've seen. You know, I'm trying to. It used to be the highest honor I'd say to two things to a person. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be arguing with you. Well, deep down, I really would. The other is, don't take a picture with that guy. Like, don't take a picture with Borowski. You're going to look bad.
Oh, no, I don't think that's true.
No,
at all.
I've said
You're
that.
gonna look good.
I've said that about Mitt Romney. He always just looked spectacular. You know, don't take a picture with him. He's just not. Gavin Newsom, I got to tell you, the hair's getting grayer, though.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot grayer. Now, I think he was coloring his hair in the spin room. I know about those things, watching him there. His hair looks a lot grayer. It still looks
just
great.
for men, just before the cameras?
Yeah. He still looks great, though. We'll know if he's running for president how much he may grayify his hair more to give him that serious
At least he's
look.
honest about it, unlike some other people.
Who are you naming here, eh?
Nancy Pelosi.
Well, yeah.
Come on.
Well, with women,
Not
it's
fooling.
accepted. They don't
I
have
guess.
to admit it.
Dom
Fine,
shuddered
I
a
can
second
go
ago.
outside
Yeah,
politics and go Coach K. Mike
Dom, did you think he was
yeah.
calling you out?
Oh, yeah. I
No,
was
not
getting a
you.
little bit-
No, please.
You're like shuddering for, like, who are you talking about over there?
Yeah, it's like the guy on
Denied.
YouTube. When's that guy going to show up and test my hair? By the way, on that point,
This is not the truth.
and this may be a mistake, the Delaware Valley Journal, I did a big article praising Linda Kearns and Scott Presler and what the two of them meant going forward and what they're going to mean. And they said, do you want to use the picture with Scott Presler that he put up on his Twitter? And I got to get a picture with Linda Kearns in here somehow or another, too. And I'm thinking, are we going to hear, oh, my God, look at his hair again, how great it is. The Presler
You know it,
thing.
yeah.
Ah.
What, does that make you angry?
Yeah, it
They're
does.
not-
I don't want to be in a picture of the guy with better hair. Come on. It's going to have to do something.
man.
Crop the hair a little bit out of there. Let's get that going. Don't worry if it's Photoshop and make him bald in it.
Tell him to put it up next time.
Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
Next time you take a picture with him, you need to draw attention away from the hair somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
put a hat
Yeah,
on.
Put a hat
No,
on.
a big
Yeah,
gold
put-
chain.
You can see
like
it.
the one you used to wear.
You know what? The gold chain is back this
Yeah.
year. It's the year of the chain. All right. We'll
Get some bling bling.
We'll take more
Dom
calls.
showing diamonds.
And coming up, we will talk with State Senator Dawn Kiefer. This is a big moment in Harrisburg. They're smart. They're out of session now, but they have this bill ready to go. One of the first things. You know what they're going to say. You know, Shapiro, right now, Joshy, I'll help you. I know what you're saying. Look at these people. Look at Giordano, too. We have to care about poor people in Pennsylvania. Who made them poor? Joe Biden. And they're worried about some trans kid being able to play sports. I can hear them already. I hear the voice of J.D. Vance going, can you hear yourself? Josh, can you hear yourself? Martha, can you hear yourself? Got to give Raditz credit, don't you, though? At the end of the interview, she still said, only a handful, and then cut him off. That was my favorite interview of the whole election season.
Interview of the year?
Interview of the year. Oh, yes. We have to do that now, too, at a point. Dan, how's it going with the caller of the year while we're on it?
I don't know. Where are we at?
Let's get some nominations here from the
Yeah,
caller.
we
Why
see
don't
some
they
people
call
that
in?
we think we know, but we want to know from the people who they think are some. I have the top 6 in mind, but I'm not sure about 7 and 8.
Don't nominate yourself, too.
No, that's right. Give us a call on that. Who do you think is the best caller on the show day after day, week after week?
And they're shoo-ins, I
Yeah.
think. You know, Joe, Earl, Leslie will be on there.
Robert of Ben Salem.
Robert, Drew.
Scott of Mount Laurel.
Man, we're already at 6.
That's 6. That's my 6.
If we're going with 8. So we got two positions then?
Two
Two at-larges?
I say, yeah. Two at-larges.
Two at-larges?
Yeah, let us hear some other names here.
Yeah, who
Maybe
are some
they
names
call-
that are out there, yeah.
that they don't call. Bill Bucks calls a lot. It's pretty
Fantastic
good.
caller, yeah. And
Yeah.
volume alone, he's like 3 times as much as Earl, who's number 2.
How's that possible? All right. 855-839-1210.
We have another one on the line here with Joe in Columbus.
Joe of Columbus. That's an at-large bid, Jersey bid. And he's in a great town, Columbus. 855-839-1210. You get
Do you
board.
hear yourself?
Oh, God. His voice got higher, too, because he had the moment and he was choking to get at it. Only a handful. Only a handful.
Nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Oh, this one had it cut off at the end. The best.
That's the money there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can probably get that for you.
You got to give her credit. Yeah. You imagine that woman still only a handful. Now I'm going to keep saying it. What are you going to do about it?
Okay, let's just end that with they did not invade or take over the city, as Donald Trump said. I want to move on to
just a few apartment complexes. No big deal.
A few apartment complexes that the mayor did not seem was invading the entire city. Let's move on to women and abortion.
Yeah, women and abortion.
Easy out.
Yeah. But I think yesterday's exchange might be the best moment of the year. That guy Fallon, oh my goodness, with that pompous head of the Secret Service. That is just, wow. That was good stuff. All right, happy holidays to all. It's the perfect time to talk about Rescue Natural Supplements and their Deck the Hall sale. Right now, you can save up to 78% on exceptional natural supplements for every area of your health, from essentials like omega-3s and probiotics to cholesterol support, natural pain relief, and more. And the best part, over a dozen health-boosting rescue products are marked down under $20. Get started and stock up on all of them today by simply calling 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. With Rescue, you can reinforce your immune system, boost energy, and reach your health goals. Again, there's no code needed to save up to 78% site-wide. So get a head start on your health. Visit res-q.com. Do it today.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. I can't recommend enough my friend and dentist, Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. But I also want to share a little secret with you. You know, we're in the final stretch of 2024. As you know, you could possibly have dental insurance benefits expiring soon. Come January, most benefits reset. So if you've been putting off getting that dental procedure done, now is the time to schedule your appointment and use any remaining benefits for 2024. Dr. Mike's office will help you work through all of it, so just give them a call. Dr. Mike Veneria is the master of implant dentistry. His level of care and commitment to dental excellence is unmatched. And if you're nervous to go to the dentist, don't be. Dr. Mike and his staff makes your dental experience simple. He's been named a top dentist in New Jersey for 10 consecutive years. He's respected among his peers as being a master of dental implants. And yes, he's my family dentist. So stop putting off seeing a dentist or getting that complex dental procedure done, and don't waste those benefits. Taking care of your teeth is so important to your overall health. So call his office at 856-786-2020 or veneriadental.com. That's VANARIA, veneriadental.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-9595. 800-885-9595. Again, that's 800-885-9595.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey girl, it's your new night guy, Jimmy Fallon in the house from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and free on the Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Let's go straight away to Jerry and Elmer. Might be dancing to the mummers at weddings. Wouldn't recommend that. Hey, Jerry, good afternoon.
Hey, Don, how are you?
Good, Jerry.
Well, here's the story. Just a month ago, I was in downtown Washington, D.C., and my son, I got permission. I had a top hat. I bring little umbrellas with me, and I go to the DJ and say, Furco String Band, happy days are here again, and we dance the mummers dance.
Oh, goodness. How about the bride? How about the bride? What did she say about it?
She was very understanding. She had been to another wedding where she saw me do it. She said, that's okay. No, she liked it.
Wait a minute. Now, Maisie's recently married, Dan. They come to Maisie, right? She's got the green eye shade on. What's she saying to this guy? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, her father would come out and throw you out. That's what would happen, really. Big guy. Yeah.
And I spent the next 2 hours explaining to people from California and Texas and Arizona what the heck the mummers strut is, and which is fun. And so it was great. We had a good time. Everybody was fine. Now, as far as your Philadelphia question, do you remember Clark DeLeon?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
He wrote an article one time called Philadelphia English, or Finglish, PH, Finglish.
Right.
And I taught public speaking in public school. And when I was introducing public speaking, I would say you have to take your voice to the prom. Accents are fine. Accents are great. You want to sound different. And we would go over the Philadelphia aptitude and things of stoop and stuff like that. And we had a good time.
Oh, wait a minute, Jerry. You're out of the. What do you mean about stoop? No, that's wrong subway stop. That's New York. We don't have any stoops.
Get out of here.
And by the way, we don't say yo in South Philly like a greeting. We say yo as get off the car.
Well, no, I think Henry.
That's
there it is. Henry.
Yo. So what's yours? Go ahead.
Well, I had a mother who wanted her daughter out of my class or me fired because I was mocking her Philadelphia Italian daughter. And I let her, it was a parent conference, went for about a half an hour. I played the rope-a-dope. She beat me up pretty good. And finally, at the end of the conference, I said, well, I hope I'm not prejudiced against Philadelphia Italian women because I married one.
There you go. Thank you, Jerry. Have a nice weekend. All right, we continue with this, and we're going to talk with Dawn Kiefer about this common sense bill. They're already on the trail of Josh Shapiro, though. What will he do about this? Straight ahead, Talk Radio 1210.
This school year, make the most of it for your child or grandchild and make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Give your student all the tools they need for a great school year. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Help your students start strong. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
Santa, he's not checking his list. He's checking out the insane deals at the Bush Auto Group. Forget Black Friday, forget Christmas shopping. These deals are so big, they'll have your wallet saying, ho, ho, holy. We're talking huge dollar amounts off select Nissans. Infinity's so affordable, Santa's ditching the sleigh for adaptive cruise control. And our pre-owned deals, they're so outrageous you'll feel like you're stealing. But don't worry, it's all perfectly legal. You're still on the nice list. Visit us online at bushautogroup.com. And remember, Philly rides with us.
It's Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Westchester University and Pittman, New Jersey in February.
Alan Iverson, Joel and Bean.
My dad set this up. This was actually a Christmas gift to bring us all together, come see Joe and relive all the Philadelphia history. It's amazing.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm and the story of Philly sports through music. Westchester University on February 21st and the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey on February 22nd. Tickets to a Conklin show make great holiday gifts. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Hey, welcome in, everyone. Dom Giordano program. Before we go to Representative Dawn Kiefer, the development in the Penny case, the jury wants clarification on what is a reasonable person. Oh, man, in New York or Philadelphia, what does that mean? It might be different all over. I'll get into that. Yeah, I thought it was on the bill here, Senator. Sure, you're right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It was the last thing she was, but no, she's elected.
Yeah, elected. Now, I thought her name is on the list of sponsors. Senator now, Dawn Kiefer, and I guess not chair of the Freedom Caucus. I'm not sure. Senator, sorry for that miscue. We didn't know about the election. Thanks for joining us.
That's okay. Thanks for having me.
Are you still associated with the Freedom Caucus?
I am. We will have new officers that will be installed after swearing in.
Well, this bill is manna for heaven for me because I often say, and when I've talked to you before, you've said something along these lines too. Sometimes the right thing to do, and this is the right thing to do, and the opening paragraph emphasizes exactly what I think the problem is here, the Save Women Sports Act. But sometimes the right thing, and boy, the politically right thing to do, they coincide. By that, I'm pointing an arrow straight at the 2028 presidential election and Josh Shapiro on this.
Right. And he could have done something, and he chose not to make this a priority to protect women's sports, protect women in general. He completely ignored it. So, yes, this is on his hands.
Well, and he said you and I, who are supportive of this, were cruel. That's what he said as Attorney General when Governor Wolf vetoed this in 21-22. Why now? Why revive this now? What's the thinking?
Why revive it? We didn't get it done, and it needs to be done. We need to protect our women's sports and our young girls and the opportunities that are being stolen from them. If sex doesn't matter, if biological sex doesn't matter, then why do we have sex-segregated sports in the first place? Because it does matter, because they are not the same, and there are unfair advantages. We worked for decades to get where we are, and now you want us to check our biological reality for a man's feelings. Right. So and a lot of them say what you're doing is you're stealing scholarship opportunities and that type of thing. But for my daughter, you would just be stealing an opportunity to play. Right. She's not the star athlete. But if she has to compete against men, right, she'll never make the team. This is foolish. And for us to be labeled cruel or intolerant or anything else because of a man, it's just backwards. And I think we just had an election where you saw clearly this is what the public is done with.
It was a sleeper issue, $33 million presidentially spent on this. But I want to commend you, and it's mostly women that are sponsors here, but I know it was bipartisan and all that. I'm not a fan of leading with the issue, well, this is dangerous for women, the safety issue, which could be part of it. I like what you guys led with, which is the opportunity. We work too damn hard to have this taken away. They're going to counter, though, and I'm sure you guys will be ready for this. I think it's a weak counter, Senator, with, well, it's only a handful. Why are you making such a big deal out of this?
Well, it was only a handful when women started to get into sports in general, and we were asking for our own playing field, right? Mm-hmm. It was only a handful then. They can blaze their own trails, right? So if they already have an opportunity, they can already compete on the men's team. They can compete in intramural if they want to, or they can create their own league if they want to. But to come in and upend women's platform is unacceptable.
Right, and we're going to hear the argument. I guess you guys may have been through this in 2022. I've seen this resurface. Shapiro will try to make this, which is, well, why are we doing this? They already play on co-ed teams, at various levels. And I think my answer is right here in the first paragraph. Hey, this is high school, buddy. These are competitive, scholarship, or if you're a decent athlete, this might be your one chance to make a team and maybe ride the bench or whatever, or be very good. And we're not going to let somebody else come in and mess that up.
That's right. Absolutely. And look at even, the college sports, right? You saw what happened with Leah Thomas. And then you see what's happening in other areas as well, right? Where it is dangerous, right? Where women are getting seriously injured by men playing in their sports, right? They have an opportunity, right? I can't go on the men's team and compete fairly, right? I have a disadvantage. It's just biology. This is not sociology. It's biology, right? And so it doesn't matter how I feel. You're going to ask my daughter to get on a starting line and compete against a young man. and just say, oh, run faster, right? He has an unfair advantage as a man. You know they have stronger, denser bones, more fast twitch fiber muscles. They have, when they go through puberty, there are advantages that they gain that you simply can't overcome by working harder.
That's the most regrettable of all. Now, it passed the last time pretty well. It was bipartisan. Did a good number of Democrats, and you mentioned post-election. I think this time, well, you know how to count the votes, but in the Senate, this might pass overwhelmingly. And even though they have the majority in the House, I bet 10 or so Democrats will go along with this.
I hope so. But they've been, sticking. But maybe, maybe we'll see something different this time, hopefully.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what they'll do there. We should be able to get this through the Senate. I mean, right, this is protecting our young men and women, right? So it's, right, we know the right thing to do. This should not be that difficult. And this isn't about isolating anybody. The only people that are losing in this scenario would be, once again, women.
Yes, exactly right.
That young man, if he identifies as a woman, he still can compete on his team. He still has the ability to do that, right? The only losers are our young girls. And so I want to know, where are all of my women's livers, right? Where are they? Are they with us? Because I haven't heard from them.
Post the election, and I don't know about you, the area of the state where you are, but down here, I thought 99% that Trump was going to win Pennsylvania, and I thought win the election, but I never thought he would win the popular vote, and I thought it would be one of those 2 or 3 day things, counting the votes here on edge in Pennsylvania. So did it surprise you, and what is it that your constituents voted on?
Well, my constituents, I'll tell you, just knocking on doors, it was the economy.
Yeah.
It was the economy, number one. Number 2 was safety. And number 3 was education. Of all the issues, they could gaslight us all they want in the media. But I'm telling you, as I was knocking on those doors, and I was hitting all doors, not just Republican doors, it was the economy, it was safety and the border, all in one, and then education. Those were the issues. That's what people care about.
Education in the sense that we are seeing it more and more every day. The schools were shut down. My background is I was a former teacher, I think, Dawn, you may know, before I got into this. And the prediction, the schools just have not, and I'm not blaming teachers per se, but the emphasis has not been on making kids whole again enough with all that money. And even if it were, it's still going to be very difficult. We know more now how traumatic this was.
Right. Well, and listen, we weren't doing great before COVID. COVID exacerbated it, but we weren't doing great before that. But the focus is on everything but education. I've got 2 middle schoolers in my House seat, now in my Senate seat, 2 middle schools that have less than 17% of those kids are in grade level for math, right? Across the state, we're under 50%. I believe it's under 50% for reading, that kids can read on grade level. Right? But meanwhile, you're like, oh, we have to have universal free hot lunch and universal free hot breakfast and health care in school and everything but education. And they are constitutionally obligated to educate, and they're failing there. And what recourse do parents have? Right? Right now in this economy, how can somebody in the middle class, unless they make a lot of sacrifices, afford to pull their kid and put them in a private school? They need that choice. Right? And it's going to take that competition to get our schools back up and to get them competitive. And I'm with you. I don't think this falls on the shoulders of teachers. I think this falls on the shoulders of educrats, is what I call them, right? It's all these layers of bureaucracy, all these administrative things that keep getting compounded in our schools, and they're doing everything but educating.
Now, where are you that only 17%? Because here in Philadelphia, we see numbers like that, probably Reading, Norristown, maybe Pittsburgh. But where are you that it's only 17%?
These are a couple of northern York County schools.
Okay.
And Cumberland County.
Okay.
In southwest Cumberland County. So numerous schools. You can pull up. It's called the Pennsylvania Future Ready Index.
Yes.
It's the states. It's you put in your school. You can do it by county. and you pull it down by each individual school building to see how the students are performing. And it has been going down. They're struggling. And we've spent more money than ever before. So that it's not the money. We're at $22,000 on average across the state is what we're spending per pupil. Right? That's a record level. We've lost 125,000 kids over the past 25 years. 125,000 students. In that same time, we have hired over 30,000 school employees.
Let me ask you a tough question on that, though. You won. You advanced to the Senate. What happened in the House? Is it just once they got in there, the Democrats got entrenched, even though it's only a one-vote majority, it's difficult to dislodge?
There's certainly the power of incumbency, that's for sure. But I think I believe that's more of a testament to redistricting. I really think that it's the redistricting, how those lines are drawn. I mean,
Pennsylvania Supreme Court, Senator, and we're going to take care of that this time around.
Yeah, I do hope we get off the couch. That's our biggest enemy number one is the couch. So if people do get up and, go out and actually vote in that election, that's what we need to do.
Absolutely. Senator, thank you so much. First time we called you Senator. Keep us in the loop on this bill. Have a great Christmas. And anytime you have something, we're here. Thank you very much.
Great. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. State Senator Dawn Kiefer. I saw her name on the bill as a senator. Yeah, but we always had her on as representative. Okay. Coming up, we'll take some more of your calls. A little bit later, we're going to talk with Curtis Sliwa about the Penny case. I told you in the Penny case, they want to know now, they want to go back over the definition of reasonable person. Look, I bet they've had the definition of reasonable person 100 times. You have people on this jury that want to persecute Penny based on race. That's all that's going on here. And they're not going to give in. They're a hung jury. Thank God. I would guess there are slightly more on the jury that are not going to go with that. What's a reasonable person in this situation? Yeah, be on a subway train in New York with a maniac screaming he's going to kill everybody, who's often high on drugs, according to reports, and hundreds of police arrests. And you tell me what a reasonable person. Well, a reasonable person, Dom, wouldn't get on the subway in New York. That would be my answer, but you have to, right? So if that's the case, then what are you going to do? Dan, have you ever ridden the subway in New York? I can't remember the last time, if ever. I
went to a Mets game a couple years back, and it wasn't too horrible an experience.
You had multitude of people on
That's the thing is, it was all Mets fans when I was there,
yeah.
which is terrible in itself.
Well, the New York accent alone, that's it. I'm jumping off the tracks.
Yeah,
I mean, the worst accent in the world. Henry, how about you?
No, never taken the subway in New York, but I can tell you it's a lot better than driving out of Flushing, Queens.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That stadium's a mess.
Yeah. All right, so 855.
Now that I think about it, I might just want to ride
855.
the worst drag over the
839-1210. Get in, give us that pronunciation where there's a battle. We had some great ones this week. Oh, somebody says I mispronounced things. I'll let Joe of Exton be the determinant of that. He's not saying that. No, Joe will determine that. Yesterday he was at Chippendale. Who's going to be the caller of the year, though? We have to put the odds up here. We need to get FanDuel involved with this. Is it the incumbent, the Earl of Tacony? Is it my outside guy that I see here, Robert of Ben Salem, with people? Is it Joe of Exton, who last year almost got there? Or other surprises? Hit us with that. Let us know who you like. Robert is going to nominate a caller, too. Coming up, we'll get that. Hey, tackle the NFL action on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. Henry, did you get a hunch last night on the Sixers? They didn't play last night.
No, they play tonight.
Do you have a hunch some point tonight?
I mean, it wouldn't be for the Sixers, but he's done it twice already. Franz Wagner, 35 points. He's done it both times they've played.
I like the Wagner too. He's gonna do an opera as he's scoring.
Wagner.
No, it's not. It's
he's
Wagner.
from Germany. It's Wagner.
It's Wagner. Yeah, that's right. You got to say it with a little German.
There's another side question answer.
Yeah, that's right.
Born and raised in America, wasn't he?
He's still a Wagner.
He was.
He still says he's not a Wagner. He's a Wagner. All right. So when you get a hunch,
no, born in Germany. Okay.
Okay, it's a Wagner. Yeah. You get a hunch in the middle of the game. You can check out the latest stats for you, live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page when you place your bets. Here's what you do. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/Dom. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Is your home cold and drafty, or windows and doors just won't open like they used to anymore? Brighten your home with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We offer a wide selection to fit your style and budget, ensuring energy efficiency and aesthetic appeal.
And new doors and windows enhance your home's value and comfort.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, Dan, I just saw this on Twitter. This guy who's 55 and looks decades younger. He kind of looks like Henry, maybe, his age. And here are his tips. I'll give you one throughout the show so you can write these down. Exercise until you're out of breath. You going to follow that one?
Yeah, I'm already out of breath, so.
Okay, there you go.
I don't need to exercise.
We'll give number 2 coming up here and see if we're getting any followers. All right, the side question today. this whole thing with Cheltenham, niche and niche and everything else. Let's go to Robert in Ben Salem on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert. Afternoon.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys today.
Same here, Robert.
Before I get to my answer, I wanted to ask about if Bruce from Northeast has called in lately. I wanted to nominate him because I thought it was only fitting since he decisively bounced me out of last year's competition in the first round, and I've missed hearing from him. And I'm just wondering if
I hope he's all right. Yeah,
and that's an honorable thing to do, Robert.
Yes, that is a great talk radio.
The guy that beat you.
Great talk radio voice. The even DJ's not that raspy. That is put him on the list there. I think yes.
Well, yeah, I've always liked. It's hard when you're competing against a bunch of people that you like. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, as far as I understand you with Ant, Dom, but why is there a U in it, right? And that's my point about the whole English language in general.
Yeah.
And I'm going to key on the letters GH, okay?
Yes.
At the beginning of the word, it's pronounced like a G. At the end of the word, it's pronounced like an F, like laugh, which also has a U in it. Anyway.
Well, it's not Pittsburgh.
I'm sorry?
It's not Pittsburgh. The city of Pittsburgh.
Those people don't speak English in Pittsburgh anyhow, so yeah.
But when it's in the middle of the word, like daughter, it's silent. And I want to go back in time and find the guy who came up with silent letters and punch him in the head because they're completely unnecessary. But the whole language is like that. But for my answer, I'm going to go with the difference between who and whom, because that seems to be a point of contention. Now, who is if you're talking about the object of the sentence. Whom is if you're talking about the subject of the verb within the sentence. I know that doesn't mean anything to anybody, and no matter what word they use, I'm going to understand them. But I'm going to go with who and whom.
That is a great one. I would rule that we've relaxed on that one. You know, that one we overlook pretty much. Yeah.
You guys have a great weekend, okay?
Boy. Thank you. Dan, I got to say, that is a hell of a call. The guy delivers, my God. The voice, too. All right. Yeah, Bruce of the Northeast. Bruce, if you're out there, come on. We haven't heard from him in like a month, I think, Dan, easily. All right. 855-839-1210. We're going to talk with Curtis Sliwa coming up here. Do I have time for one more? Dan, one more or no? Here. Yeah, okay. Henry gave us. There you go. Let's go to Richard in Westchester. Hey, Richard. Afternoon.
Hi. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. That's cultural appropriation. I don't have to rule on that.
Right.
That's Fisher-Pine. Leslie. Now I
want.
Go ahead.
I want to nominate Rob of Ben Salem for Caller of the Year because I call him Mr. Common Sense.
Yeah, he is a self-educated guy that's unbelievable. I mean, I just marvel at it. All these years of talk radio, he's definitely in the top 5 for my sure.
But my call was about the assistant DA working this Penny case in New York, this Daphne Urine, who refers to Daniel Penny as the white man and is very proud of her letting a murderer off for restorative justice. You really have two peas in a pod here.
87-year-old, I think that's who you're talking about, was in a phone booth or something, killed. And she was happy that he died just because he was 87.
Right.
And she wants to persecute this guy. They have to lose election after election. People are linking these things together. They're not saying, oh, this is only happening in New York. They're saying it.
This could be you. This could be you or me or my child.
Exactly right. We could be walking along in New York and have to deal with this without a doubt.
Yep. I'm thinking we're doing a good deed. Anyway, I think my word is Kiev. It's pronounced Kiev. It's not Kiev. It's not Paris. We say Paris.
So wait a minute. Paris. How about the chicken? And I made that once, Dan. Chicken Kiev.
Chicken Kiev.
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah. Kiev. Yeah, not Kiev. Yeah.
That's right. And I'm a big chef. I know.
All right. Thank you. Dan, you're very good in this stuff. You ever have chicken Kiev?
What's that?
Chicken Kiev?
No. No, I have not.
I made paella, too. This is before roe for somebody else, and the rice was kind of hardened, which spoils the whole thing. It's really messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad. You got to be careful with the rice. Err on the side of mushy if you have to. The rice is hardened, messes everything up. 855-839-1210. So we're going to talk with Curtis Sliwa coming up here about Mike and Flemington wanted to clear this up. We had the caller that asked, why didn't he resuscitate Neely? Why didn't Penny do that? Hey, Mike, thanks for clarifying. Go right ahead. Yo, Mike. His answer was, I think, that Marines are trained for medical aid, not mouth-to-mouth, something like that. I think the telling thing in the medical information here was there was not a broken neck. This kind of gets at they Narcaned him and drug overload in addition to the pressure he was under in this hold. But that's not what this case is. They're back to asking about the reasonable man now. You know how basic this is? And I'm sure each lawyer tries to frame it that way. Was Daniel Penny a reasonable man here? Of course he was. And if he's not a reasonable man, think societally what that means. You're to sit there and let a maniac, at best, continue to terrorize people, at worst, do physical damage or kill them. That's Larry Krasner's version of the world, I think. If you were on the subway, SEPTA in Philadelphia, and you engaged in this, what would Krasner do to you if things went awry and the guy died? You know exactly what he would do. And that's what's happening in New York. They're losing on this. They're losing nationally. They're going to continue to lose going down this path. All right, Curtis Sliwa, then more of your calls coming up. Let's talk batteries plus bulbs. My friend Roy, 2 big stores, Mount Laurel, Route 73, and Northfield. And Roy, I had a good conversation with him the other day. We catch up every few weeks about what's going on. He told me he was so happy that his 2 stores now and his staff there have just completed 5 months of Apple training. They're certified, meaning they get the same parts, they get the same training, they get the same everything as if you went to an Apple store if they're fixing your phone. Now think about that. Rose had some phone problems recently. You go there. They may be very skilled, but you got a lot of people and takes up a lot of time. Not with Roy at these 2 stores and their expertise now, and they can tap into these things to be even better. You got it all here. Any supplies you need, batteries plus bulbs, a lot of gifts for the holidays. He also told me people bringing in sentimental items, decorations, this, that, and the other they want to give to kids. You have anything like that, this is the place to go. They restore it. He always reminds me, they are driven to power it, to light it, and then to fix it. That's for businesses also. You got really the bullpen working overtime here. Call them, whatever need you have, at least run it by them. 856-638-0778. That's 856-638-0778. This is like a superstore. He founded the first batteries plus bulbs in the area. Roy and his team, 2 stores, Mount Laurel on Route 73 and Tilton Road on Northfield.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Looking for that unique gift or hard-to-find collectible? Look no further than Nicholas Smith Trains and Toys. Nicholas Smith has over 60,000 items for you to shop at both nicholassmithtrains.com and nicholassmithtoys.com. But come into the store on Westchester Pike Broomall and get lost in old and new technology. Pretend play, RC and slot cars, Western play, Madame Alexander dolls, mechanical robots, superhero action figures, Playmobil, Lego, Disney, and much, much more. Right off the Blue Route, visit Nicholas Smith Trains and Toys this holiday or any day.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, any day is a good day. Dom Giordano program that we can get on Curtis Sliwa. Remember getting a call from Kensington once when he was on patrol here, and he was calling people Jaspers for some reason. The Jasper stuff. Founder of the Guardian Angels, the Daniel Penny case, still this guy's sitting there with this jury. Hard to know what they're ultimately going to do, but it's not going to be good for him at this point. Let's go to Curtis somewhere in New York on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Curtis, Merry Christmas if we don't speak between now and then, and thanks for joining us as always.
Oh, my pleasure, because a hero's life is on the line now. Daniel Penny, U.S. Marine, realizes that a jury has him by the short hairs. And even though they're deadlocked, they could ultimately convict him of a second count on criminally negligent homicide.
Yeah, we're told you have to convict on the first to get to the second, Curtis, but who knows what's going to happen here. And this is a pretty obvious thing that's happening here with this jury. How does this compare to somebody, you know, I know they're not exactly alike, and I'm trying to remember, were you doing Guardian Angels then with Bernie Getz?
Yeah. Well, first off, if they decide to exonerate him, if the jury, which has now been ordered by the judge to go back, if they decide to exonerate him on the manslaughter charge, they can then consider the criminally negligent homicide charge, which has a 4-year term. But Bernard Getz was back in 1984, the subway gunman, which dominated discussion around the world for years until he ultimately was found guilty only of possession of an illegal handgun, did 7 months on a place called Rikers Island, and has lived amongst us ever since, never having gotten into trouble. But on that morning when he was going to meet friends, 4 thugs surrounded him and were ready to rob him, and he preemptively decided, no, I'm never going to get beaten up again and robbed again, because he was like that proverbial Casper Milquetoast, the guy who always had sand kicked in his face, and he pulled out a revolver, shot all 4, and where he got into trouble was Darrell Cabey, who was on the ground, one of the 4, he said, "You don't look so bad," and put a 5th bullet in his back to paralyze him. He escaped into the subway system, was on the lam in Vermont for about a month, and then turned himself in. And you know the rest of the story on that, Don.
Absolutely, Curtis. Do you ever run into issues like that? You must have. The Guardian Angels, the subways. That's the first we saw of this. Issues as far as having to intervene in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Now, even though police officers have been restricted from using what they call the chokehold, the headlock, it is the best way to restrain, whether it's an emotionally disturbed person, like in this case of Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely, who is out of control, or it's just a thug who might have a knife on him, a shiv, an ice pick, a single-edged razor, and slice you up. You've got to get control. You put a full Nelson, half Nelson, a headlock. You must hold them until the police arrive. And Daniel Penny was doing what his training had mandated. In fact, was assisted by two good Samaritans who were at his side. And know in the beginning, Dom, that Al Slim Shady Sharpton wanted Daniel Penny charged with murder, the highest charge, as did AOC, all-out crazy Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, leader of the Socialists of America. You noticed.
When you start rolling there, when you start cooking there, I remember when you were the moderator walking around with a bat, I think it was, of us talk show hosts on stage at one of the talkers conventions. Michael Harrison had it right.
What did I tell you guys at the beginning? No booing or hissing.
That's right. But, Dom, in this case, both Sharpton and AOC extricated themselves. You didn't hear from them any longer.
Right.
So it simply became a question. And this is what the jury has a problem with. The prosecutor, the infamous Alvin Bragg, said in opening remarks, hey, what Daniel Penny did in the first 60 seconds was correct. What he did thereafter was reckless. Now the jury is hung up. They've asked the judge, can you determine reasonably when physical force is necessary and when it's reckless? And the judge, instead of answering their question, said, hey, that's for you folks to deliberate. Go back in there and come out when you've decided this.
Yeah, that is just ridiculous. So, Curtis, you ran the last time against Mayor Adams. Adams now dancing around looking for a pardon, I guess, but also somewhat sincere, if there's any sincerity there, on illegal immigration and how it's devastated New York. What's your sense now? Could a Republican like you, a conservative, could you contend in New York given what's going on?
Yeah, I'm already running. But I will tell you this, you have watched a miraculous transformation
yes.
of Eric Adams, who was the Biden of Brooklyn for 2 years. Now he's the Trump of Brooklyn. I predict on January 20th, when Trump is sworn in as the 47th president, Eric Adams will put on the MAGA hat and say, Trump, let's make New York City great again. And he will try to run as a Republican. So guess what, Dom? Bring it on into the ring of fire. I want a primary. Newly rehabilitated MAGA man, Eric Adams, swagger man with no plan.
Not rolling it out. Not rolling out a switch to the GOP.
How's the radio thing going? Where are you now, Curtis?
Oh, WABC stands for Always Broadcasting Curtis. You hear me a little in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and all weekend long. Dom, like you, I love radio. It is the most intimate form of communication that's ever been created. I say by Marconi. Others say the Serbian Tesla. Doesn't matter. Radio is the best.
One of my favorite shows of you and Kubi, Curtis and Kubi. I mean, that was amazing. Just amazing stuff. I don't know if the two got along, and for the show you were able to do it, but you talk about polar opposites coming together. It was great radio.
Oh, Dom, we were like two scorpions in a brandy glass every day. Every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Curtis, thank you. And Guardian Angels right now, you're still doing that in some capacity.
Oh, yeah, we're in 13 countries, 5,000 members all over the world. And, boy, one day I'd like to come back to Philadelphia, to Kensington and Somerset. I have unfinished business there, Tom.
Where's this Jasper? You know,
it's the only time I think I've ever heard anyone desire to come back.
Right, well, but Dan, he talked about jumping on the hound. That's another Curtisism, you know, the Greyhound. And also you talked about Jaspers there at night. You were there at night with me.
Yeah, little leprechauns running around. You know, the crackheads were chasing what they thought were little leprechauns to the pot of gold so that they could beam themselves up to Scotty in the glass pipe.
Unbelievable. Curtis, thank you. Good luck. We'll have you back whenever way we can help as you run in New York. Thank you, Curtis, very much.
Oh, my hands across the Delaware River to all of your listeners.
Thank you, Curtis. Oh, my goodness. Curtis Sliwa. Yeah, that's what people don't understand about talk radio. Where are you getting 2 scorpions in a brandy glass? Kubi is probably a Marxist and defense attorney, right? Imagine him with Sliwa, and he was every bit as colorful, and he might have even been more aggressive, if you can imagine. Picture those two. It would be like me doing a radio show with Jim Kenney. Now, there would be, imagine a show at first, say, that's it, right over these tables here, right over there, yeah. And Kenny would have his producer, and I'd have you there. It would be.
Is there a box of wine on the table for Jim?
Oh, God, yeah. I'd like to do a partner show on the weekends with Helen Gim. Now, that would be a show.
What about that Brendan McPhillips kid?
Oh, the Brandon McPhillips guy. How's it working out for him? He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now.
Helen Gim, and then he took the collar with Harris, and he blames Bob Brady. That's interesting, right? I wonder what happened to how Helen Gim lost.
Tom, you're moving out.
That's right. Oh, God. Get it ready. You know, that is the highest honor that I could get, putting a press release out on me to 200 Media Institute. It's unbelievable.
What an absolute political winner he is.
Oh, yeah. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. We'll take your calls here. We have a lot more that is happening here. Sampson, yeah. Reasonable doubt. Reasonable person is what's in play here. We're going to talk with a local state senator about this bill to say that women deserve to be playing against other women or girls against girls in sports. That's straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-390-6294. 800-390-6294. 800-390-6294.
Listen, here's the secret to your holiday savings. Ready? You can get gifts starting at just $3.99. Toys from Disney, Mattel, Barbie, Sonic, Looney Tunes, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Nerf, Hot Wheels, and more. You can put a bow on these brands and won't break the bank. Adidas, Champion, Puma, Reebok, Converse, True Religion, DKNY, and Levi's are all at prices so low, they're basically a gift. The savings are hiding at You can put a bow on these brands and won't break the bank.
Free speech lives here.
The Dom Giordano program.
On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Joe, big story today, at least coming off the election, etc. It's the right thing to do, and it's got a lot of politics associated with it, and it's going to pass as it did before. I'm talking about the Save Women's Sports Act. Joining us to talk about it, she's one of the signatories, one of the sponsors, is State Senator Tracy Pennycook, who is in our area here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, State Senator, thank you very much for joining us. Where's your Senate district? Give us some of the towns.
So I am in Senate District 24. I represent Upper Gwinnett all the way north, New Hanover, Lower Salford, Upper Salford, all the way up to the Berks County line. And then I represent from Amity all the way over to Topton. So quite a bit of Berks County as well.
Okay, definitely. Well, I would say in parts of that district, as far as I know, this would be a very popular thing. We learned this in the last election. I only wrote about it 10 days before the election when I saw that Trump campaign was spending $33 million on issues like this. But this one about competing in sports fairly is the gold standard of what people are concerned about.
Absolutely. One of the issues that we find, and it was on display very recently with the volleyball, is boys who have gone through puberty are so much stronger. They have larger lung capacity. So then when they decide that they're going to be a female and compete in female sports, we can't match that muscle growth or that lung capacity. And it gives them an unfair advantage. And we need to make sure that women have opportunity to compete against their peers, which are biological females.
Now, State Senator, this passed the last time, somewhat bipartisan, I think, in both houses, right? Some Democrats came along. I'm hoping post this election, politicians read the tea leaves here. You would think you might even get more this time.
I would think so. And this is not about excluding a trans child. It is about preserving women's opportunity. And that's what I think is really important. And I don't know how this isn't a bipartisan issue, because no one wants to have their, daughter competing against a biological male or in a locker room as a high schooler or college kid with a biological man. That is just unacceptable.
Apparently, too, you're hosting a free event, my producer tells me, December 13th, 10 a.m. to noon at the Skip Pack Township building called Scam Jam, that discusses the importance of vigilance during the holiday and protecting oneself from scams.
Absolutely. And it's a great event. It's free to the public. Anyone can come. And it just is a great opportunity to learn about how to protect your information from being scooped off the internet, how to be vigilant and make sure that your information stays with you.
Now, State Senator, back to the female issue here, too. I see this as certainly the right thing. It's obvious. It's at a moment in time where people really want this. Governor Wolf vetoed it the last time. That's another era. But the guy who is the national figure, without a doubt, Josh Shapiro, called it cruel and words of that nature. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does. My prediction would be he does go on the attack again. Kamala Harris renounced a lot of things that are articles of faith of progressives, but one of the reasons she lost the election, she would not renounce or could not renounce, I'm not sure, this article of faith. So how does this play out? Because he may veto it again.
I think, honestly, if he vetoes this bill, that's going to tell the national public that he's only concerned about the less than 1%. And out of that 1%, how many are actively in sports? The reality is we need to protect women's opportunity. I'm a kid of Title IX. I was given opportunity in high school because of Title IX. And I think it's important that we continue to protect women's sports. And this trans issue, I think, is very, very interesting. But at the end of the day, when you make a decision as a child under the age of 18 that is going to impact the rest of your life, I think adults need to step in and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You want to have surgery and remove your, your sex organs. You do that when you're an adult. But as a child, we need to protect our children, and we need to let them know that we are there to be the adult, to say, whoa, hold on, we're not going to give you puberty blockers. We're not going to give you chemicals that castrate you and that have irrevocable damage to your body. I think we need to step up and say, this is great that everyone wants to have identity politics, but at the end of the day, someone's got to be the adult in the room and say, we're not going to do this.
It is a reality check. Now, Martina White is a friend and a friend of the show, and I know when we had her on originally a couple of years ago, she talked about being a female athlete. You mentioned in high school. What sport did you play? Where did you play?
I played basketball, and I ran track, and I ran in Mansfield, right outside of Boston.
Okay, so during that period of time, coming from that, my sisters were all basketball players usually, and you can see the leadership skills, the other things that develop out of this. We know every study indicates what this does for females, even if they don't get a college scholarship. It's one of the most wonderful, even if they're only a high school athlete, it's one of the most wonderful things imaginable. And I'm sure the women that are on this are going to make that argument. Why in the world would we fool around with this?
I agree. And, every time someone like Leah Thompson, who announces that they're going to swim for UPenn and is in the locker room getting undressed as a fully intact male in front of women, that is unacceptable. I don't know where that would be acceptable. If we are going to start allowing that, then why do we even bother having gender bathrooms? And that's the reality, is we need to look at this as adults, as common sense adults saying, look, you can do whatever you want over the age of 18, knock yourself out. But if you are a biological male, you have no place in women's sports. And at the end of the day, it is about biology, and it is about your DNA. And, you know, you can tell me all day long that you're a woman, but unless you're having your period every month, and unless you are able to pass a genetic test as a female, you're not a female. And I think that's really important. And I feel bad for people that struggle with this gender dysmorphia, but I think and some of them have come out and said, look, I identify as a woman, but really at my DNA level, I'm a man. And I think that's the right way to approach it. You can be whatever you want to be, but you're not going to interfere on a biological woman's ability to play sports.
You know, I hope you're one of the ones leading the charge. I listened to you carefully here, and anybody on the other side that would start screaming at you, you're cruel, or you're a hater, or whatever, this is not going to pass the reasonable person test at all. If it's Shapiro or anyone else, the manner in which you're talking and discussing this and making the point, we feel for these kids, their families, but you know what? There are adults here. There is a reality test here, and what you want to do after 18, that's on you. But prior to that, this era of this insanity, in my view, is over, and people are going to be reestablishing both the science and the common sense of this.
I agree with you. And, you know, transgender children, there's a few that have come out and said, hey, I wish my parents had not let me do this. And just one child, even if one child regrets it, I think that is enough for us to say, whoa, we have to be the adults in the room to say, you can do whatever you want, but you're going to wait till you're 18 or even 25 when your brain is fully developed and you can make that decision. I do not buy into the rhetoric that, oh, if we don't transition them, they're going to commit suicide. I don't believe that. And I think that we need to look at taking care of those kids and getting them the counseling they need and getting them the support they need, but coming up short of drugs that could transition them and potentially set them on a course for being on drugs for the rest of their lives and having issues, whether it be urinary tract issues from reconstruction. There is no medical school that certifies you as being a transitioning doctor. To me, it's kind of Frankenstein. And I think that's unfortunate. I think we need to really support individuals that believe that they are transgender and get them all the support that they need, but they need to wait until they are an adult and can make their own decisions and be responsible for that decision, because there's a responsibility. I think they need to know walking in that, hey, this is a lifetime of drugs. It's a lifetime of, care. This is not changing your hair color. This is something that's very permanent.
Exactly.
And I think that's not something we should allow children to do. And I think we need to be the adults in the room and be the parent and say, as much as you want to do that, we're going to wait. I had a child that really wanted to be a pirate, and thank God I didn't cut her leg off so she could be a peg leg pirate. And now she's an attorney. And, we talked about it. We actually had this conversation like, thank God, Mom, I was this tomboy. I wanted to do what the boys were doing. And she sometimes bristles about being a girl. And now she's a very successful lawyer in the military. And, but she's very much a girl. And I think you have to support your children and love them. But I think you have to be the adult. And sometimes the most difficult part is saying, no, you're not going to do that.
I hate to be the other side arguing this here. I can hardly wait till that stops. This should be a no-brainer. Absolutely. Have a great Christmas, State Senator. Thank you. Please come back again.
Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas.
Tracy Pennycook here on Talk Radio 1210. I often see her, Dan, in the Delaware Valley Journal. I think it's one of the first times we spoke with her. So what will Josh Shapiro do? I can hardly wait. He will say folks a lot. He's going to lean into folks. He's going to say y'all a lot. He's going to say cruel. He's going to try to deflect, start dancing around, saying all kinds of wild stuff. Nope, Josh, you got to give it up on this. You got to see the light. That's what the election should tell you. All right, coming up, Mike Bradley is a heck of a talk show host, the Delmarva Peninsula. He's had me on several times. Wanted to get him on just to get his take post-election on any number of things. We'll have Dom's Money Melody. We still have some great pronunciation guides going here. And people today giving us some nominees. I think Bruce of the Northeast Stand is definitely one of the top 8 to be considered. Hope to hear from him today. Anybody know anything, Henry, on Bruce? Nothing?
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
We haven't heard from him in a while. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Privacy online is everything to me. There's so many hackers and scammers out there. People want to know my personal information. I don't want any of that. That's why I subscribe to Privacy Pro from DuckDuckGo.com. And here's what I'm going to do for you. We'll give you a 30-day free trial at DuckDuckGo.com/1210. All right? You're going to get 3 things in one. DuckDuckGo VPN, personal information removal, and identity theft restoration. Personal information removal is key. I don't want anybody knowing anything about me on the internet. Nothing. So DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro actively scans and rescans and scans again. It just keeps scanning to find personal information about you and then removes it. That's going to help you combat identity theft, combat spam. It's going to save you time, save you effort. It does the work for you. And it's only $9.99 a month. That's right. You get all 3 Privacy Pro features, one low price, less than $10 a month, and you get a 30-day free trial, but only if you go to DuckDuckGo.com/1210. Sign up today just like I did. You're going to be in good hands. DuckDuckGo.com/1210.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-9595. 800-885-9595. Again, that's 800-885-9595.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-458-0279. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-458-0279. 800-458-0279 or oxcarcare.com.
Hey, radio listeners. Don't miss the Legacy Box Cyber Week sale going on now.
You've heard about Legacy Box all year long. And with our Cyber Week sale, now is the time to take advantage of our best sale of the year. Legacy Box is the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. It's simple, safe, and has been trusted by millions.
That's right. It's our best sale of the year. Right now, when you go to LegacyBox.com, you can save an unreal 65% on your Legacy Box.
And for a limited time, you can preserve your tapes, film reels, and photos for as low as $27, saving you hundreds.
Hurry, our best sale of the year won't last long. Visit LegacyBox.com for an unreal 65% off during our Cyber Week sale. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast.
Shop our Cyber Week sale now at LegacyBox.com/value to take 65% off. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. LegacyBox.com/value.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Welcome in 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210 and we will get you on board. The New York shooter case has hit a pretty wild, even for CNN. They had a guy on today telling us that he thinks the United Healthcare guy hired his own assassin to kill him.
What?
Oh, my. Oh, yeah. Dan, I thought you'd get. Whoa, Dan's perking up here. Conspiracy
I'm getting right into this one, man. Oh.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing now people in the media dancing toward the idea, well, maybe these healthcare people are going to pay attention now. I did see that Blue Cross is now going to say, yeah, your sedation, they'll continue throughout your operation. They're not going to cut it off at some point. That's what had been proposed before. And now suddenly they're going down that line. Wow. All right. We just heard Curtis Lewa, and he mentioned how much we love radio. I do, too. When I come across really good talk show hosts, we usually have them on, and I've been a guest on his show, The Talk of Delmarva. That is Mike Bradley, who's the morning man there, 92.7.
You know, it took me way too long to understand what Delmarva meant.
Yes.
Oh,
well, I got in trouble there.
What does it mean? I genuinely don't know.
It's Delaware, Maryland.
Yeah, Virginia.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we talked about it once. We used that. He's on 92.7 and 98.5 WGMD. It's where I committed the faux pas, at least Doug Mastriano thought so, of going after him a bit. I may have said it multiple times. Little trouble there with his chief of staff or whatever the guy is. But it was worth it. Mike Bradley's with us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Mike, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Don, thanks so much. I do appreciate it. And yes, Delmarva is a peninsula, and it's a very unique radio market. We've got over 40 signals because we have a convergence of central and southern Delaware, the lower eastern shore and mid-shore of Maryland, the eastern shore of Virginia, southern New Jersey. It's crazy, and I cover 4 states and 10 counties, and I do my best. But you can imagine on a busy weather morning trying to cover all the counties and the advisories and warnings and watches, it gets to be a bit much after a while.
Definition of a peninsula, because we're doing words here today. The reasonable definition of a peninsula. I'm trying to go through. Yeah, I'm trying. No, wait a minute. Hank Johnson. Yeah, Mike. What does the peninsula mean?
My fear is
surrounded by water on 3 different sides.
The island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Surrounded by water on 3 sides. Yes, exactly. So. Mike, what's been hot with you this week? There's this New York story. I just said that the CNN expert they just had on said he thinks the United Healthcare guy probably hired this guy to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, Dom, I do mostly a local program, so it's more 80 local, 20 national. But to that end, you would have thought that some of this would have been toned down after November 5th, that they would have kind of learned their lesson, and they haven't. I mean, this is why the ratings are in the tank. This is the kind of stuff that is disgusting, that turns people off. It's just amazing to me. Now, I guess this guy's from out of state, although he supposedly was staying with some other people. But I'll just say this, and you saw what happened in California. The states that have supposedly the toughest gun laws, what's happening? Guns are still being committed in crime. So, how good is that for you? So
absolutely.
Yeah, their rhetoric is ridiculous. But I will say a story that certainly has both, I'd say, a state and national story, has to do with that Delaware court ruling concerning Elon Musk and his compensation. Delaware, as you guys know, right to the south, is one of the most business-friendly states in the country. And so that's why you get so many corporations to incorporate, that is, in the first state. And it makes up about a third of the revenue of the Delaware state budget. So he's going to appeal the ruling appealing to this Delaware State Supreme Court after Judge McCormick in the Chancery Court decided to, again, even though the shareholders voted again to approve the compensation package for Musk, he's going to appeal it to the state Supreme Court. I've kind of heard mixed reviews whether he's going to win that or not. I'd like to think that he will, but some people that I trust are saying, yeah, we'll see about that. But I think the macro story is if that should be shot down by the Delaware State Supreme Court, and if progressives in Dover, Delaware have their way, which I'm told there aren't enough numbers there yet, even though that party's gone very far left in the first state, that, what are the chances that you could see a lot of companies flee Delaware to incorporate elsewhere, which would hurt, obviously, their revenue, their bottom line quite a bit. That would be significant. So, that's something to continue to watch there. And look, Elon Musk has got a ton of publicity right now. And if he says, hey, get out of Delaware, people are at least, corporate boards are at least going to listen a little bit and start to talk about, hey, what are our options based on this ruling and seeing what the legislative body does.
Great. He just might do that. All right, Mike, so I love being on with you, and Delaware, Delmarva. Explain where we are now with Biden in the first state. Is he still the favorite son? Was he ever the favorite son there?
Well, south of the canal, no. I mean, Sussex County is a red county, although you do have Rehoboth Beach, which is a part of Sussex County in the east. You have your sycophants there. But there is a feeling that generally, especially lately, that the allure of Joe Biden has faded. Certainly seeing what came out in June with the debate and the more and more that comes out, about the family. And I think this pardon to a certain extent as well. I do think the allure has faded on him, although certainly Harris won the state by, I think, 14 points. Trump's numbers were pretty good, especially better in some of the areas that they hadn't been before. But still, it was enough to carry the state, much more though than New Jersey. But I think the allure's off, and I think people that really know the Bidens, they know better. They're just those that are Democrats would never publicly say it.
But here's the thing: the Kennedys, we get it, right? They're more massive, the money, the scandals, and all. But that's a bigger, more prominent state. You would think in Delaware, everybody in the world would have run into the Bidens. There's so many of them, so much stuff they're involved in, a lot of it's scandalous.
Yeah, no, certainly agree with that. But look, when at least in the last couple of elections, when it comes to Trump, I mean, it's hey, we're overlooking everything about the Bidens, and it's hey, we just have a strong dislike, or I hate to use the word hate, hatred for Trump, and that that superseded everything. But I think there are plenty of people, Don, that know that this is a family that has always put themselves first. For the Colorado governor to say that, I'm sorry to see that the Biden put his family over country. He's always done that. And I still have asked my listeners, any Democrat to call me up and say, why was Hunter on the Burisma board? That tells you everything. I mean, he had absolutely zero to contribute concerning energy policy. We know he was a conduit to the VP who was in charge of Ukraine policy for the United States, and they made money off of it, 20 LLCs, and then, great-grandchildren having six figures show up at a bank account. I mean, that looks obviously very, very, very fishy.
So, Mike, what were you talking about this week or after the election? I wanted to ask you, your people in 3 states there, even though there's a belt of progressivism there, was it inflation? Was that what drove them? The transgender issue? Is that coming up more?
I think, I've certainly brought it up quite a bit, and I do think that's come about more. It hasn't been, at least in Delaware, as big a story, although I've certainly pointed out in the blue regions of Sussex County, which is a mostly red state, which is a primary part of our listening area, you've got some schools there that do very well in, say, girls lacrosse and field hockey. Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis, which is just north of Rehoboth Beach, is one of those. And I'm wondering how the liberal parents there would feel if you had, a boy identify as a girl and take their place on the team and cost them a scholarship, so on and so forth. That hasn't come about yet, but it would be very interesting. I think you'd see them go from blue to red pretty quickly. But I do think primarily, Don, it is the economy. It was the economy for this past election. And look, even in blue places like Rehoboth Beach, you've got a lot of restaurants and such that have had to sell out to larger regional type companies because they just can't make make ends meet anymore. It's not worth the slim profit margin anymore. So I do think that the economy was a huge part. And look, the border also, I think, played a part. You do have a fair amount of immigrants that are working in, farms on southern Delaware and the eastern shore of Maryland. And, that's going on quite a bit. And there was also talk about potentially some coming to Georgetown, Delaware at one point a couple of years ago. And, that, of course, caught a lot of ire from our listeners in terms of, where these immigrants were being shipped to by the Biden administration. But I would certainly say that, the economy and I'd say immigration, two big aspects, and education as well. Delaware's really hurting in education right now. But I'll say from the national standpoint, guys, I think something that I was really happy to hear, and I know up the road, I know he works for a competing national company in radio, but for Charlamagne tha God to come out and say, hey, look, Democrats, stop sitting and taking this position that you have the moral high ground. And Don, that's what I said about Biden to folks in Delaware, especially. I said, look, you don't have to like Donald Trump, but don't sit here and put Biden on some moral high ground, above Trump. I said, because you're not doing your homework or you're burying your head in the sand about the family and the corruption. But I'm glad Charlamagne said that. Look, as we know, both sides of the aisle have skeletons in the closet. They have their own issues. You're seeing this with Pete Hegseth in that situation, is that I'd be very careful about some of the things that you're going after him about, because as we know, womanizing and boozing has been a long tradition of Washington, D.C. since the beginning of time there. So since it became the nation's capital. So that is nothing new to people who have been in power there. I mean, let's be very honest how backdoor deals were done in offices, in congressional offices years and years ago that probably continued today for that matter. But I'm glad he made the comment about, Democrats need to get off their high horse. And I think the Biden pardon is showing that. And if he further pardons, I just really think you may end up looking at a man who's, going to bring down the Democrat Party for a long time with his actions before he leaves.
Well, my candles are being lit for that. So, Mike, thank you. What hours do we hear you on WGMD?
Yeah, I'm Monday through Friday, 5 to 9 a.m., and I appreciate it, Dom. Yeah, we do mostly a local show, like I said, 80-20, covering Delaware, Maryland, and some New Jersey and Virginia, but we do cover some of the national as well. That's why we appreciate having you on to cover the Pennsylvania aspect of things, but especially with the presidential election.
Thank you, Mike. Enjoy it very much. Have a nice weekend. We'll talk again very soon, I hope.
You too. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mike Bradley, love being on his show. And again, WGMD down there at the Delmarva Peninsula. All right, our side question today, before we do Dom's Money Melody, is hit us with that contention over word, phrase, coming off the Cheltenham thing. This guy, we're waiting for a ruling on Twitter about how do you pronounce Mozart. I didn't know there were two pronunciations. But they want Joe of Exton to settle it.
Weekend. We'll talk again very soon, I hope.
Hey, Joe. Good afternoon, Joe.
Mike Bradley.
Joe.
Again, the guru.
The guru.
We'll come back to him.
The Chippendale. We'll come back to Joe. We'll get that pronunciation.
That's down a couple seeds now.
Yeah.
No longer a one seed in the upcoming.
It was shot late in the season.
Yeah, right. Exactly. 855-839-1210. AT&T. And Verizon Wireless, all that you have to do is push pound 1210. I'm waiting here. The Trump team, Fox talking today a lot. Still a few nominations left out there. Who's going to head up Secret Service? I wonder if Trump liked that guy better that got into the scrum yesterday with the two congressmen. Maybe not. You want that guy protecting you? Think about it. Arguably, if you're a president, one of the key positions. He's the guy that's in charge of the Secret Service. And we see now the failure of this is just shocking. It ought to shock us. I mean, up until the last X number of years, I always thought the Secret Service, you can depend on them. They're cutting edge. Anything can go wrong, but they're on it. All right, we'll take more calls coming up. But first, it's time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
All right, we are playing for a pair of tickets to see A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical on December 10th at the Forest Theater in Philadelphia. For tickets, visit ensembleartsphilly.org.
Dom, I've been called out, and it's sad to say, but the YouTube chatters, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, predicted where I might go with this money melody, so good on them. Today, Dom, we're doing a cover song of something that relates to the side question, sung in a different language.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Oh, no,
this one's fun, though. This one's
Henry, take over. Remember that plan I told you?
This is a fun song, though.
Yeah.
All right, so Dom, with the country of origin of this language, without them, we'd probably be riding around in our cars with just a lap band seatbelt, no 3-point seatbelt. You know, we got them to thank for that. So also a nice tie to South Philadelphia, and finally, very well known for a wad of protein. So Dom, we want to know what language this is being sung in. Take a listen.
Kunde hålla tyst. Du sa Schengen när jag sa genren. Du sa pendeln och jag sa pandangen. Schengen, genren, pendeln och pandangen.
He sang it the same way.
Vara nog.
Yes, that's true.
Du sa önskar när jag sa önskar. Du sa grunskar när jag sa
Pretty close.
grunskar.
Yeah, where's the distinction?
Grunskar. Nu får det vara nog.
So what language is today's song being sung?
That's all you have to identify. Wow.
Yeah.
Tomato,
Oh, do you have any idea?
I think it's European. Don't say
You think so?
anything. Yeah.
You think so? I'm not going to tell you whether it is or not.
855-839-1210. The Land of Oz is my guess. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. Just one request, too. Maybe for the holidays, can we get Baby It's Cold Outside and a couple of covers? I wonder if Taylor Swift has ever done that.
Oh, I'm sure she has.
I'm sure everyone and their mother has a cover of some
a cover
Christmas
of that,
song.
yes. 855-839-1210. You get on board on Talk Radio 1210.
Nu får det vara nog. Du sa...
The story about artificial Christmas trees being more eco-friendly. I'm a big believer in getting them real. I don't know how you gentlemen feel about this, but I am a big believer in getting real Christmas trees because they help the family farms. Kirk has a real tree. Good for you, Kirk. I'm glad to hear that. You support the family farmers, Kirk?
No.
You know, you said you have a real tree. That means you do support the family farmers.
Yeah, sorry.
Kirk's like, I have a real tree. I'm helping out. You support the farmers? No, F those guys.
Yes, I do.
Rick Zioli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business, with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
It's Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Westchester University and Pittman, New Jersey in February.
It was fabulous. It was the most joyful night I have experienced in a long time.
The Frank Sinatra guy, I really liked him.
His imitation of the Bee Gees.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm and the story of Philly sports through music. Westchester University on February 21st and the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey on February 22nd. Tickets to a Conklin show make great holiday gifts. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Business owners can count on McCausland Lock and Alarm to secure and control access to their facilities. Enjoy peace of mind while their access control and CCTV systems provide top-of-the-line protection for your assets. Tom McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station. Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone? Show me the money.
That's exactly right. All right. Dan playing off today's side question, this fight over pronunciations like the Cheltenham thing yesterday. What language is that being debated in this song?
Du sa Schengen när jag sa Schengen. Du sa pendeln och jag sa pandangen. Schengen, Schengen, pendeln och pandangen. Nu får det vara.
And Dom, country of origin, gave us the 3-point seatbelt. There's a tie to South Philadelphia, and they're known for a wad of protein.
All right. Joe in Hatboro. Joe, what's the language?
Swedish.
All right, nicely played. What gave it to you? The 3-point seatbelt with Dan, IKEA, and South Philly, or
yes,
meatballs?
No, it was actually all three except for I knew Volvo invented the 3-point seatbelt, and I figured he was talking about the Swedish meatball. I wasn't sure about South Philly. I didn't pick up on the IKEA thing,
Yeah,
but
that'd
now
be
you
IKEA,
said that.
giant furniture store down there. But yeah,
Yes.
great picking up on the clues. Thank you for that. I like to hear
All
that,
right,
Joe.
thank you, Joe.
Congratulations.
Another great job, Dan. Another great job.
Oh,
Say it again.
my
Say it again.
goodness.
Oh, you already put him on hold.
God. Oh, my goodness. All right. That's it. Never ends. All right. Little update. President Trump, for reason I can't fathom, I mean, I get it, that he's willing to take on all comers, is doing Meet the Press. I guess it'll be down in Florida on Sunday. And it's just hard to believe. There's no fair shake here. Why give them oxygen with this? Joe Concha, Dan, let's try to get him on Monday to break this down with Meet the Press and Kristen Welker, who used to be at NBC 10 in our building over when we were over in Bala Cynwyd, the original building I first came to, right there on Monument Road. The people that she's going to have on to break down the Trump interview are Eugene Daniels, Politico, anti-Trump, Joe's right. Carol Lee, NBC News, very anti-Trump. Jen Psaki will be on the panel. Where's the fair shake here?
Excuse you.
And Mark Short, not Martin Short, but Mark Short, another anti-Trump. You know, if you're going to do this, how about having a panel of a couple of Trump people? You know, maybe somebody who's crazy Trump, whatever he says are all right, and then someone who's with Trump, you know, admit a flaw here and there, to debate the other people that are going to be on the panel. So they do the Trump interview, then they have 4 anti-Trump people on. Why do the interview with NBC? Is it to announce that, hey, it's over? Elon Musk has bought NBC and MSNBC at least, and we're moving on? It's hard to believe. All right, we continue to follow the situation with Daniel Penny. Will the judge continue this through the weekend or into Monday? Yeah, this judge seems to be determined. They're all in on it, that we're going to get a guilty verdict on something here, some way, shape, or form. And politically, you know how this is playing out with people. There's no way they're looking at this as apparently a few members of the jury are, that this is racist, and that's why this man's dead. The guy has a lot to worry about. When it comes to the civil case, in places like New York and Philadelphia, they're going to vote against you. Daniel Penny is going to get a hit with millions of dollars by the father of this guy who was out of control in the civil case. You almost can't prevent it. That's what happens. But criminally, Joe and Exton next, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, welcome in.
Yes, hello, Dom. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Joe. We need you first before you go into, sorry to disturb the rhythm, but people on Twitter want you to tell us, how is Mozart pronounced?
Yeah. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Oh, Mozart. There's a T in there now.
Okay.
Mozart.
All right. Do we have that on authority?
It's not Mozart.
No, as I said.
And he's my favorite composer.
Ah, okay.
And for my side question, there is a college town in Delaware County whose name is pronounced officially as Swarthmore. However, colloquial pronunciation has it as Swarthmore.
So should it be Swarthmore or Swathmore, if we're trying to be correct?
There's an R there. It should be Swarthmore, but people say Swarthmore.
All right, we got you on that, Joe. I say Swarthmore to kind of mock it all the time. I put the elongated out to make it ridiculous.
Should do a half-hour segment sometime of Joe's top 10 list of composers.
Oh, my goodness. All right. He's in the running, though, as the caller of the year. Are you setting any odds based upon all that we know? The incumbency of Earl of Tacony has to, and his Christmas album, he always drops it right around the time the judges, the listeners are looking at this.
I don't mean to go right to him, but he's actually here if you want to hear from him.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear the
Earl. I didn't even screen you. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Earl of Tacony. Welcome in. We think that you're the odds-on favorite, but, you know, this is a very tough race this year.
Well, yes, it is. We'll have more of a discussion on this on Monday. I'm feeling a bit under the weather right now. This happens every year.
No. So just for an update, me and Earl this past Tuesday, we were very far along with our Christmas album. We got a couple more tracks we got to lay down before we can release it.
Particularly the Presler track. I'm going to send it to him immediately.
And Earl's such a good worker. He was scheduled to come in yesterday, but we had something else come up, and we rescheduled for Monday. And now, Earl, you're telling me you're getting sick, man, and we're not going to be able to sing this? Uh-oh.
Oh, no, we can. Well, if you listen to the squeaking that I did last year, this happens every December whenever I try and sing. I always get sick, even through high school choir. I remember standing outside City Hall with my high school choir, trying to sing. But in high school, it didn't matter because I was bass. We're the guys that stand in the back and go, so you don't have to be able to hold a note.
Okay.
Do you want to hear a sample of us singing together?
Yeah, let's hear a little bit of that.
Yeah. Here we go. Take a listen.
Krasner World, Krasner World, Krasner World, Krasner World. It's not safe to live.
Very good.
In the city.
Fantastic, right?
Tremendous.
Murdering.
Where's Dan?
Right there. Sing it back up.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing.
All right.
Someone will die every day.
Oh, Earl, so depressing for Christmas.
What a Christmas album. All right, Earl, what's the pronunciation for you today?
I didn't even realize I'd probably been spelling it wrong for years. It's surprise. Now, you would think, there's an R in there. You would think if it was surprised, it would be S-I-R. Now, I know it's S-U-R-P, but I never knew there was an R in there. I always say, I'm surprised. And I was surprised when I found out there was an R, and you would think with an R, it would be surprised.
All right. I got you. Thank you. All right.
Surprised.
All right. I'm surprised at where we've gone with this. All this off the Cheltenham guy. He was a great caller. That guy was just sitting on that call forever. That was wonderful.
And Earl, since we didn't get a chance to talk off air, I will give you a ring this weekend, and we'll
Okay.
get going on the finality of the album.
855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Prediction on Daniel Penny. This jury is not going to come away from where they are at this point. I don't see it. If these people capitulate, the people there that I think are doing this just based on race, we're in a much more difficult spot. But you know what? If Trump had lost the election, I think Daniel Penny would be convicted. I think part of it is he's not going to be convicted because it's a different time and a different day in America, and people have spoken on this. All right, 855-839-1210. You get a line. This guy could be a Rorschach test, though. You want to know a progressive. They think this guy ought to go to jail, maybe even for life in this situation. Most reasonable people, the reasonable person standard, if I were arguing this in moot court, you got to be kidding me. We're not going to freeze frame this. It's not like a wide receiver. Did he get his feet down? This guy's under pressure with a maniac who's threatened to kill people many times. And you know what? He ran into the wrong guy here. That doesn't give him carte blanche to just kill him because of that. But in a struggle like this, it does give him the gray area. The gray area is what we're looking at. And this isn't even Bernie Getz, who Curtis Sliwa broke down. I think he shot at this one guy who was getting away because he knew they would come back and get him. If I were on that jury with Bernie Getz, it'd be pretty hard to find him criminally guilty of much of anything. I think he was of a gun charge. What are you supposed to do? Isn't that the question that the other side just can't answer? Because many of them live in insulated areas where they're not going to have to face this. Didn't we hear this during the campaign with Springfield? Remember that, Springfield, Ohio? We heard it in Aurora, Colorado. Then the cover-up starts. You're making it up. It's not that bad. These are people that don't want to face reality. That you could, in an instant, in Larry Krasner's Philadelphia, for example, in SEPTA or anything like that, be under attack for your life or your kid or anybody that's there. And thank God we still have guys like Daniel Perry who stood up for this woman and her child. And after this is all over, we will celebrate him here. He ought to be celebrated across the country. That's the way America ultimately is going to parse this, not what this jury and judge are doing in New York. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Well, the holiday season is here. Busy as ever. No time to cook. No worries. Captain Chucky's. Now, you know about Captain Chucky's, the crab cakes, the great Gulf shrimp. But everything that you want is right there at Captain Chucky's. I'm talking either hosting or how about the gatherings? Bringing something, right? We all know Captain Chucky's is known for the crab cakes and shrimp and the soups. But they're teaming up right now with some well-known family-owned businesses to offer other great products. Captain Chucky's and Marciano's Bakery of Philadelphia have now launched their newest invention, the Bang Bang Crab Cake and Cheese Specialty Bread, available exclusively for now at most Captain Chucky's locations. But they also have their Taste of Philly section in most stores. They have Stock's Pound Cakes, Marciano Specialty Breads, pierogies from the Pierogi Kitchen in Roxborough, Chef Matt's Key Lime Pies, Derby's Philly Famous Clams Casino, and, of course, Vera Pasta Company of Westchester. They produce Captain Chucky's own line of pasta, including their 3 different raviolis, lobster, bangin' crab, and finally, their shrimp scampi ravioli and their own jarred blush sauce. Check out the website for all the availabilities of these products. With the holidays approaching, too, add a real treat. If I have to say so myself, you got to have the Don Rolls. People will love it. What are these things? It's this big mouth guy on the radio. He calls it the Don Roll. Just eat up. Get the Don Rolls. Where do you go for all this stuff? One website. WeLoveCrabCakes.com. WeLoveCrabCakes.com. If you're headed to the shore, don't forget Captain Chucky's is there too. Visit CaptainChucky's@theshore.com.
The Arctic air mass remains in place heading into the weekend. Plenty of sunshine today, not quite as windy. High temperature up around 38, but feeling colder with the wind. Very cold tonight, partly cloudy with a low 26. And for Saturday, partly sunny and still breezy with a high up around 40.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. It's a great month to get a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. You'll be thankful because there's so many fabulous offers to take advantage of. Lease an all-wheel drive XC90 for as low as $687 per month using all applicable rebates. Costco members save even more, up to $2,000 in additional rebates. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships really do matter.
Are you worried about your roof handling the next storm?
At Emmons Roofing and Siding, we provide top quality roofing services that fit your budget and stand the test of time.
And our team of roofing experts ensures your home stays safe and dry with durable, reliable roofing solutions to any problems you may have. Plus, at Emmons, we offer free inspections and free estimates.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, it is downtime. During that break, watching KJP, oh my goodness. If she weren't such an incompetent, you would feel a bit sorry for her. Going over and over again, this is the first interview since the pardon. Well, we're laying out the thinking and all. That's not what we're talking about here. Is he sorry he misled Biden? The American public, well, and there's no answer to this other than to blame Republicans and said what the change is that vindictiveness of Trump and what might happen essentially, but he didn't lie. He was just, and he's not sorry about it, but he didn't lie. They're going to continue to do this and blame the notion of vindictiveness. That's going to be the theme.
Again, he said in his statement, in his own voice, that he made that decision this past weekend. And the fact is, when you think about how the president got to this decision, circumstances have changed. They have. And a couple of things, and I said this on Monday as well. Republicans said they weren't going to let up, weren't going to stop. Recently announced Trump appointees for law enforcement have said on the campaign that they were out for retribution, and I think we should believe their words, right? We should believe what they say. The sentencing was coming up, as you all know. There was a sentencing coming up, and the president said this in his statement, that Hunter and his family had been through enough. Enough is enough. And he wrestled with these circumstances, these changing circumstances ultimately. And the combination of that, the president changing his mind and issuing, certainly led to the president changing his mind and issuing this pardon.
They lost. That's it. Good night, everybody. So now we're going to, even though everybody knows they were going to do it all along, it didn't matter whether Trump won or lost. They weren't going to do this. They were going to issue the pardon. They were going to take it off his plate. It's endless. The thing to look at here is, what does this do? It's about winning. It's not just about going back. And you know how much I despise Hunter Biden. The very face of failure and privilege. That's Hunter Biden, the whole Biden criminal family. But what this does is two things. The January 6 people now, this sets a different playing field there. What it also does, it sets up the nominees. It sets up the nomination and how we're going to look at this stuff. It puts them behind the eight ball, so to speak. All right, let's go to Jerry in Washington Township. Hey, Jerry, good afternoon.
Hi, Don. How are you?
Good, Jerry.
Okay, I've been waiting to call about this word since October 6th of last year.
Okay.
Hamas is not two words. It's one word. And you make, every time you pronounce it, it's like chalk on the blackboard. I mean,
Thanks, Amber, for putting me on this.
When I heard this question today, I'm like, I got to call.
Wait, how does Dom say it? Dom, how do you say it?
Hummus.
Hummus. It sounds like hummus.
I didn't say hummus. I said it a little bit differently. I tried to curtail it there.
No.
Called out by Jerry. Wow.
You absolutely separate it into two words. It's one word. Hamas. Practice.
Hamas. All right, Jerry. We'll put you in for that.
Much better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
You
might even be the winner here ultimately. We'll see. We'll see how the judges go on this. All right. 855-839-1210 is how you get on board. Now, I recognize every time we do this on any kind of premise like the Cheltenham thing yesterday, people do get wound up. And we have to face the music. There is going to be a pronunciation issue or two for me. I realize that. That comes with the territory, even though the side question's supposed to be the fun, lighter side of Sears.
Can we bring in Kevin and Bucks real quick?
No, I'm not going through all that. No. One's enough. No. Dave in Somerset. Dave, afternoon to you.
Hey, good afternoon, Dom. How are you?
Good.
Hey, first thing I want to say is when I called in last week, you distracted me with the football throw still, but I wanted to say that the event at the NAC was it was fabulous. And, you know, your listeners, and I love listening to the show and love the show and everything. And, you know, just being able to get together and commune and talk with each other was just, I don't know. I'm just saying thank you, you know, and, you know, the more we have, the more chances we get.
Well, I appreciate it. To me,
talk.
It was the best of talk radio. We had the people on pretty intense things about the election. Then we had the bear that I outran, and then the football throw. And you were good enough to sort of make an attempt at it.
He dove. He almost ended up on the ground because
well, you were a bigger target than Jim Worthington, but Worthington came up with the ball. That's all that I'll say. It was a successful pass there.
And Dom, it had nothing to do with the guy throwing the ball, huh?
That's right. Nothing. The quarterback is never responsible on that. I was starting to think, should I be throwing the ball around here? On the second one, I kind of choked a little bit.
No, it's okay. But again, getting together with people. And, you know, I'd love to talk to the Earl of Tacony, but if I can make a nomination, I like Drew from Upper Darby. I just like the man, and he makes really good points, so if you want to nominate him in there.
Yeah, I remember he brought an encyclopedia with him to Mulligan's last year over something. Now, that is dedication right there.
Oh, he's dedicated, you know, and he's also just a very, very nice man.
I mean, if we're going based on dedication, though, we might need to consider you as well, too.
Oh, yeah, Dave. Coming from Somerset. How far away is Somerset, Dave, from Mulligan's?
First of all, down to Mulligan's, it's about 2 hours,
Oh,
hour and 50 minutes.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
But I wanted to come down for the day and enjoy myself in Wildwood. I have some friends that live down there.
Well,
so,
I'll tell you this,
then,
Dave, this year, you heard Scott Prezzo, who'll be back with us every Monday now, regular updates on the voter, all that stuff. He's made Wildwood the capital of his efforts here, the premier spot. This guy is as hot nationally as anything I've seen, and suddenly Wildwood on the boardwalk is the center of the operation.
And Dom, he's a superstar. I mean,
yes.
if he can duplicate what he does and put it into other states, we can take our country back. And if we can take our country back, we don't have to deal with the issues going on in New York with this guy, Daniel Penny. And, you know, you made mention, by the way, of the civil case. All of the riders that were there that day, they should file suit against the guy's family.
Yes, exactly.
And say, your son put us all in. We need to fight back this way by making them feel uncomfortable for their actions, because he's just looking for a payday now. And this should not be a payday from someone who, you know, this guy was just sitting there saying, I have to defend the people around me. There was no racial aspect.
And it's a woman who's black and a child defending here. Yeah, this is clear. Dave, what's your pronunciation issue?
Well, it's close to where I live. It's where Rutgers University, in New Brunswick is, but their athletic fields are in a town named Piscataway. But I've heard national announcers call it Piscataway. And I think to myself, did you just parachute in 5 minutes ago? Did you think maybe to ask somebody at a concession stand there when you're getting maybe a bag of popcorn or a soda? How do you pronounce the name of this town?
That's a great one. Thank you,
David.
David.
The announcer saying in Covey the other night.
Oh, God.
Instead of Covey.
It's these people. One, it's back in the day, damn, female announcer on TV, news, screaming about a snowstorm on I-96. I mean, you just can't. You can't do this.
Dom, you'd be happy to know that, man, the response in the chat to that caller who called you out on your pronunciation abilities, they're like personally offended. One saying, you should have told this caller one word, bye-bye.
Yeah, you got to take it a little bit.
No, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's sort of. Well, she got a little.
No, it's
it reminds me of the scene in Goodfellas. You were a little bit out of line yourself there now at the bar.
Well, Minnie says, remember that when y'all call me Mean Dan 1210, I've never said that Dom sounds like or Dan sounds like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, that was
a little bit
there.
You
know, I'll tell you one saving
there.
grace. Jerry was building up on this. I mean, she's listening. She couldn't wait for this moment. And Henry, the executioner, Hank, as he's known behind the scenes, went along with it. So that's okay.
There are a couple ones.
There's a few on the board that I'd love you to take.
The one that really stands out is Robot. I always love the robots.
Yeah, that's a mess up. Yeah. Leslie gets me on that,
But for that specific word to be said, I don't even think they deserve the correct pronunciation. So
there's a good defense. All right. We'll have the finals here, and we'll determine the winner this week. That's coming up on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Guarding online privacy is critical for me, personally and professionally. That's why I subscribe to Privacy Pro from DuckDuckGo. I feel secure with Privacy Pro's 3-in-1 subscription service, DuckDuckGo VPN, personal information removal, and identity theft restoration. So we're able right now to offer you a free 30-day trial at DuckDuckGo.com/1210. DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro provides me with a VPN, secure encrypted Wi-Fi connection that I trust. It hides my IP address and location from the sites I visit, which is critical because I spend a lot of time on the road, multitasking, online, doing show prep, researching the latest news. I love that the DuckDuckGo VPN works on browsers and apps across mobile and desktop. Get a 30-day free trial, DuckDuckGo.com/1210, then pay $9.99 a month. Do this. DuckDuckGo.com/1210. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-9595. 800-885-9595. Again, that's 800-885-9595.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I'd gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That's right. Dom's Lightning Round is brought to you, sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Right now, lease an all-wheel drive XC90 for as low as $687 per month, using all applicable rebates. See store for details. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. I will take a couple of people. Got to be pretty quick here. Anthony in South Jersey. Anthony, what's yours?
Hey, Dom, how you doing? Astigmatism. You know how people say, I have astigmatism?
Gotcha.
But the word is actually just one word.
Just one word. Very
That's
nice.
awesome.
And Michael in Delaware. Yeah, I say Newark, like Newark, New Jersey. But Michael, what do they say in Delaware?
Actually, it is Newark, and I've been corrected so many times because coming from New Jersey, I kept on saying Newark.
I gotcha. Delawarean or Delawarean? All right, Henry, who did you like today?
I mean, a lot of strong contenders. I thought Anthony in South Jersey there with astigmatism.
Okay.
Super strong. And then Joe Avexon, of course, coming with the heat at the end of the week with Swarthmore.
And Dan?
I'm leaning towards Joe. I thought the entire call of Joe was very interesting today. Might go with him myself.
All right. Let's put Joe into the hat. Let's have the roundup for the week.
So, Dom, Monday, we asked for father-son duos. Jesse and Drexel Hill took the day with John and Walter Huston. 12-3, we asked for a word, phrase of the year, that being Tuesday. Joe of Bordentown said Joe of, the phrase Joe of, for being the word of the year for Dom Giordano program, referring to Exton and Bordentown. Wednesday, all-time Henry's Hanks, Drew of Upper Darby, Hank Johnson, and the Guam tipping over. Thursday, something associated with Canada, Joe from Indiana, Trucker Joe.
Great call.
Beer with Clamato. And you just heard the debate pronunciation won by Joe of Exton. So, Dom, let's throw them on all into the hat. Number 4 Thursday, Joe the Trucker, beer with Clamato, takes the day. Congratulations, Joe.
That's all things associated with Canada. It was interesting. Hey, Monday, we're already planning. Scott Presler will be here. He's going to come on every Monday when the voter registration numbers are out and all the stuff he's involved in, and it could be anything with him. And Ray Dininger we hope to have on Monday because the play Tommy and Me is back. There's a documentary film on Ray. We always kid who should play Ray Dininger. And we'll talk what happens with the Eagles, too, which should be another routine win, but we'll see. Everybody have a great weekend, and keep the side questions coming. Have some fun this weekend. Follow on Twitter at DomShow1210, and say a prayer for Daniel Penny. This too shall pass, though. What's going on here is not going to stand even a little bit. All right, Rich is ready to take you home 4 big hours. All that here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause. Brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
In Virginia Beach, our locals live the life every day. The art of living the life starts by connecting with what matters most. Happiness. When you visit, you will realize that happiness is a real place and that it is here in Virginia Beach.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Listen, here's the secret to your holiday savings. Ready? You can get gifts starting at just $3.99. Toys from Disney, Mattel, Barbie, Sonic, Looney Tunes, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Nerf, Hot Wheels, and more. You can put a bow on these brands and won't break the bank. Adidas, Champion, Puma, Reebok, Converse, True Religion, DKNY, and Levi's are all at